the greatest moment in my life.
Hey, yo.
Bonjour.
How we doing? All right, Maxie? You good?
Yeah, how's your week been?
Wonderful, mate.
Seeing
Glorious.
How you essentially cut off the pre-recording conversation just because we had a show to do. Very rude of you.
Selfish people tuning in on a Monday night to come and see us live because I was telling a story, Mags, wasn't I? You know, I noticed we had 16 seconds left.
You were. So you just said, stop, you just ended the story. Anyway, you're still alive. So
I am. Yeah, basically, my cough got really, really bad. And painkillers knocked me out. Had Friday off work. But now I can breathe all right. And I'm still coughing a little bit, but it's loads better, mate. Loads better.
So win-win.
Yeah, the way to go, apparently, with a bad cough is fuck ton of strong drugs.
I've tried that for many a year, and it hasn't worked for me.
Yeah, but they're talking like cocodamol and stuff, not meth.
You know? Fentanyl now, sir. Fentanyl.
Okay, fair enough. Magsy is a warm one again in Gloucester.
Oh, I hate this weather.
It's not even like
I don't particularly hate the sun. It's been in this room recording in this weather. It's horrific.
I don't hate the sun. Okay. No, I mean it's not even like proper summertime yet, but it's still I'm sweating. Saturday night, look.
Yeah, we're getting an African heat wave soon, I believe. So this will be the start of it.
Is that right? An African heat wave.
Oh, that's what it is. The winds from Africa are being blown over
song,
Europe.
Isn't it? Is that a song?
No,
I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of what's that Toto song about Africa? Oh, it's just called Africa.
It's called Africa, yeah. And you're complaining, and they're singing about the rain never coming down in Africa. So stop being selfish.
All right, I just said it's warm. You're the one who went, I fucking hate the sun.
I said I don't hate the sun. And here we go, straight away. Yeah. Usually it's me, but Si has to be first.
It's the time of night as well, mind, isn't it? It's like the hay fever thing, all the pollen's coming back down. And before I go live, I take the dog out and kick a board around for him. And now I'm thinking about it, it's probably not a good idea because I'm going outside when all the pollen's coming back down. It's going to affect my hay fever, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose it's better than taking the ball out and kicking the dog around. So there is that.
This is true. Yeah, he's very possessive over his wrecked flat football as well. My dog, as he's getting older, he's a wimp. I love him, but he's a wimp. And there was one occasion where the ginger cat decided he liked the look of his football.
Ginger cat Lemmy.
Yeah. So now the dog is so possessive over this ball, mate. Oh, he's a fucking nightmare, mate. He's an absolute nightmare.
Well, I suppose it's better than your neighbour cat that keeps coming in and expecting food
to be fed and
to get in bed with you, things like that, which is weird.
Yeah, this is true. When we had the ambulance people out on Thursday night, the other cats were like, "Oh shit, strangers," and ran away. And the dog sort of had a little sniff and went back to his bed. Lemmy was like, "What's all this equipment then?" And he was in their wires and their cables.
Can I have a go?
Yeah. Oh yes, but there we go. Apparently, according to a couple of people on Twitter and in the chat, it's Barry Horowitz Appreciation Night, Magsy. It has so been named, apparently. So,
yes,
pat on the back for ourselves.
But a lot of the CWF tried to sabotage Barry Horowitz Appreciation Night. It was a very close vote at the end of it.
It was, mate.
You know you are. You know you are.
It went down to the wire, didn't it? But
did.
Yes, 2 matches to look at. Another huge non-wrestling topic with numerous responses that I'm sure are going to create some debate here on the show and in the chat as well. So I suppose we better get on with the program, Mr. Mags. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Si, an SJP World Media production, number 122. And I think live, this is like 90 now, Mags, isn't it?
Episode 90, yeah.
Should we do something special when we get to like 100 live episodes or just not fucking bother?
We'll probably plan something, then just not carry it out.
Yeah.
Because these douchebags in the chat ruin everything.
Yeah, fair point. I am Si, and with me as always is the Horowitz. To my sweaty bits, like I said, it's warm up here today, Magsy. It's warm up here today.
Oh, thinking of your sweaty bits.
Oh, dear me. The Skip to my nip slip. Ooh. Shall we? No, I'm not going. Don't worry. A podcaster who is more prima donna than body donna, I would imagine. The podfather himself, Lord Mags. Any more eggs, my friend?
Now you mentioned that, I've actually added something that you didn't even know about.
Chicken News with Mags, only on Chain Wrestling.
There we go.
That's the greatest thing ever.
I mentioned my chickens so much. I think they deserve their own segment. So
got their own segment.
All the chickens are laying daily now, which is brilliant. They're for their age that they're at. You should be expecting 1 egg every 2 days, but yeah, we're getting 4 eggs a day, more eggs than we can actually eat. And we've Carlos and Mars built a new roost for the chickens. So basically that's where they sleep at night. They like to sleep off the ground because of predators. So we built, it's kind of like a step ladder, but a wide one going up the side of the chicken coop. And we've got enough space. We've counted for about 16 chickens now. So
16?
Yeah. I mean, we are getting another 4 at the end of the month, but potentially we could fit 16. So yeah. Anyway, that's this week's
Chicken News with Mags, only on Chain Wrestling.
Why? 16? That's a lot of chickens, mate.
I'm not saying we're getting 16, but
you will,
the potential is there. I probably will.
That's going to happen. It's going to happen. Oh, there we go. Magsy, before we dive into this week's non-wrestling topic and the much-awaited Barry Horowitz Appreciation Night, where we look at not 1, but 2 matches from Barry Horowitz.
Yeah, another week. We shall, but it's another week where there is so much from the CWF that we've had to bump another segment twice in a row. So we're not giving you that option next week. Next week it will be 1 match and 1 match only, so we can get back to your regular scheduled programming. Anyway,
I don't want to sit here and slag off Barry Horowitz because we'll get to our ratings right at the end of the show, and it's not as bad as what we saw last week. I would like to watch some really good wrestling next week.
Well, we'll see how the vote goes.
Okay.
Anyway, first in the chat, the first lady of Chain Wrestling, Sharon. It's Monday night. You know what that means. And then straight away, the Barry Horowitz super fan himself, the person who inspired this very episode.
There we go.
Pigs, Bladders, evening lads, and then the person who tried to sabotage Barry Horowitz's appreciation that Scottish Danny tried to stab up Barry Horowitz. Ridiculous.
And imagine how upset he would be when we finally, in sometime in the months in the future, do a Funaki special and somebody tries to sabotage that. Danny would be very upset, wouldn't he?
Well,
what goes round comes round.
Let's just hope for Danny's sake we don't do a Funaki special.
Okay.
Sharon says your painkillers weren't really that strong. You're just a lightweight.
I don't take tablets for anything. I don't take paracetamol or anything like that. So when I take something that's seen as maybe being semi-strong, it knocks me for 6. I slept for like 12 hours.
Yeah, I can take paracetamol all the time, and it dulls the pain. But 2 cocodamol will put me to sleep.
Yeah,
they are powerful. Scottish Danny rubbing it in people's faces by saying it's Barry Horowitz appreciating that. He's like Boris Johnson. He voted for Remain, but then when he saw that Brexit was winning, he switched sides. Danny, you have no loyalty, Danny. No loyalty whatsoever.
Politically minded.
Exactly. Connor in the chat, hello, sir. How are you? Barry appreciation. We've started something here. Barry appreciation that. No thanks to Danny. In fact, we should tell Danny he's not allowed to watch any more Barry Horowitz matches from this. Sharon, by ambulance people, he obviously means the paramedic.
Yeah, that is
I
true. They
didn't
are
even
paramedics.
clock that. I didn't even clock that. I'm disappointed that I didn't pull you up on that.
Yeah,
The ambulance people. That's a t-shirt. The ambulance people. Scottish Danny admitting his subterfuge, saying he voted for HBK versus Hart. Just rude. Pig's Bladder says it as best as he could. Rude. Scottish Danny says, another great Carly special for episode 100. We've gone through all of the best great Carly matches there were, and they were all terrible. They got an average of what? One.
Yeah.
King's Pig's Bladder says, no, it's got to be Sean Spears night for episode 100. Surely that should have been episode 10.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone in the chat actually listened. I see we do kind of split our audience, don't we? We have the people who watch live, and then we have the audio version later in the week that people listen to. So there's one or two people who listen to both, which I hugely appreciate. But if we ever give anything a 10, they love us. If we ever give anything a 10 with our ratings, that's the music I play whenever we give it. And there are times when I've not done that for so long, I think to myself, should I just give this match a 10 just so I can play the music on the audio version? I never do, but it does cross my mind.
Wow. So you would break the rules just to fulfill your own needs. I mean, you can play it all the time to yourself.
It's not the same, though, is it? It's not the same.
You're out. Again, quite a bit of love for Chicken News straight away. King's Big Bladder and Scottish Danny, both loving Chicken News. It's mental.
It's a little chicken, is it?
That's a chicken.
From back here, it looks like Father Christmas.
Okay.
It does. It looks like a little red hat and a white beard.
You need your glasses on.
I haven't got any glasses. Well, that's probably the problem, actually, isn't it?
Exactly. Scott Stanley says, we need a Funaki special. Well, right, and behave and stop trying to sabotage other people's special days like you did with Cam and like you did with King Brothers. Play by the rules and you'll get your turn.
You're a little troublemaker.
Well, Cam in the chat, hello, sir. How are you? And look at that, just how magnanimous King Pigsbladder has been. Even he agrees that he should get a Funaki special, even though Danny tried to sabotage Barry Horowitz. I'm milking this, aren't I, really?
You are a little bit.
Get to the horrific non-wrestling topic we've got coming up. Cena versus Carly was Carly's best match according to Scottish Danny. Benny Mack in the chat. I don't think Carly remembers it, to be fair. Benny chat. How are you? And Cam getting some love from King's Big Bladder. So yeah, that's the chat all caught up with.
Awesome stuff. And of course, mentioning Pig's Bladders, the Photoshop wizard. Yet again, thank you so much for our surround for the live show and our still for the YouTube. Is it thumbnail they call it? Is that right?
It is. I mean, I had to edit this out.
Did he? Oh, half a job, Bob, innit?
Yeah. See,
you know,
that's why we've decided we're only going to do half of the Barry Horowitz appreciation and review one of the matches.
Oh, when you said we'll do half, I thought you meant we'd do the beginning of both and just stop.
Or the beginning of one and the end of the second one.
Yeah.
Just confuse everybody.
Before we crack on then with our non-wrestling topic, there is something I wish to just bring up quickly. Last week, I think it was last week, you have to excuse me because my memory is, as people are probably aware, slightly wobbly at times. We announced the brilliant news that on I think it's the 31st of May, it's next Wednesday anyway, the live debut of In the Corner with Benny Mack and Tyler Peters and so on. And the first episode will be checking out the your results and review show, I guess, from the Night of Champions pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Now, we have more news coming up with regards to new shows and so on. There is a few more that I still can't announce yet because we're holding off until certain things are. What's the saying? Is it ducks in line? That's all the ducks are in line.
Ducks in a row.
Ducks in a row. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Same thing, isn't it? A row and a line.
Yeah, but it's just the same as ducks in a row. I mean, it's like crossing the T's and dotting the R's.
Okay, fair enough. So you need all your geese in a row or whatever it is, and ducks. Yes, okay. Or your chicken in a line.
Oh God. Benny Matt, brilliant. Oh, chickens in a row.
Chickens in a row. That's it now. That's the saying. So yeah, we've got to make sure all the chickens are in a row for the the announcements of other shows coming up, more live content, and so on as well. But we have a new podcast debuting this coming Saturday. So that is the 27th, I think it is. Yes, it is 27th, as we are talking now. So if you hear us on the audio version and you're listening a week or two behind, then go back and check it out. It's already out. But yeah, Saturday, the 27th of May. The show is called Away from the Pages. And this is the, I suppose, hosting debut of my good lady Sharon. It's her podcast. Everyone is fully aware that Sharon has wrote some books. She is a published author. She has put stuff out there. People have paid for her stuff, which is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. And I'm incredibly proud of my wife. I think she's amazing. She's incredibly creative in what she does. She's got her own business plus the book thing as well. And the stuff that she creates, literally from goodies, beakers, merchandise, right through to writing the books themselves. It's insane. I can't understand how people can create these whole worlds in their mind and then put them onto paper for other people to enjoy and so on. Absolutely insane. But there is a whole world to this. There's like all these different genres and subgenres of different types of book, different types of fiction, and so on. And there's, I suppose, festivals in a way. There's book signing events where lots of people go to and so on. And my wife has been a signing author at some of these events, and there's another one coming up in a few weeks' time. And on Saturday, as I said, Away from the Pages, the very first episode of a Book World podcast with Sharon Correa and guests, will be debuting via SJP World Media. And episode 1 is interviewing a lady named C.N. Marie. Now, C.N. Marie is not only a author herself with numerous releases out there, she is also a event organizer, and she is organizing the Sugar and Spice book signing event with over multiple numbers of 60 odd authors, I think it is, signing at Bramwell Lane in Sheffield. My wife is also a signing author there. And the first episode of Away from the Pages with Sharon herself on Saturday, when it is released, is interviewing C.N. Marie and talking about how she got into the writing world and what she enjoys as a reader, as an author, organizing an event, a signing itself, and so on. And I've listened to the show already. I've had the pleasure of going through it and so on. And I'm not going to lie, it's fucking fantastic. And yeah, people will go, oh yeah, well, you're biased, so you have to say that. No, I don't care. If it was shite or needed improving, I'd tell her, and she knows that. It is bloody brilliant. Sharon is an absolute natural at this. Her guest is superb as well. And even though it may not be 100% my world, I'll go to the signings and so on, it's still such a fascinating discussion, hearing how people have this process of writing books, coming up with the ideas, and also, imagine putting an event on, hiring a football ground and having 60 odd authors trying to arrange people coming from all over the place, all over the world to come to this event. It's a fascinating discussion. And Sharon is going to be speaking to numerous other people in the book world, whether that is authors, readers, whatever, are all going to be joining her for Away from the Pages via SJP World Media. Last count, there was up to, I think, 20 people requesting to come on to the show as guests. So loads of content already lined up, plenty already recorded, set to go, and so on. But episode 1, as I said, is out on the 27th of May, which is this Saturday, which I believe, Sharon, you have to remind me in the chat, but I'm fairly certain it's the 1-year anniversary of your book's first release, isn't it? In which case, that's a nice way of tying it all together, in my opinion. But yes, there you go. Saturday via SJP World Media, Away from the Pages with my good lady Sharon Correa. I hope everyone checks it out.
Yeah, I definitely will be. As many will know, I'm out of the podcast listening game. So I don't listen to any of your podcasts anymore because once you're the best, there's no point listening. It's like punching down. But I'm actually excited for that because I am interested in the creative process behind things like that. Not particularly just being an author, but the creative process around any kind of entertainment, and knowing that it's not just a case of sitting down with a pen and paper and writing out the story, but the whole logistics behind it as well. That's something that'll really, I'm really be interested in getting the feedback from other authors, how they go about producing their work compared to how the next one does it. I mean, it'll be kind of like wrestling. There'll be so many different ways to get into the writing process. So yeah, it'll be really cool to hear that. Yeah, I'm excited for that. But Morty has said that I'll listen to this and CRISPR Vision. I haven't listened to CRISPR Vision. I was there for CRISPR Vision.
I have.
That was listening. That is one thing that I would not go back and listen to. Sorry, I was offended by the list of crisps. But recording with all those guys is absolutely amazing. So yeah, back on topic. I'm excited to listen to Sharon's debut and just see where it goes in this wacky world of book podcasting.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All the socials and that are out there as well. So if you want to follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on, the show, as I said, is called Away from the Pages, and it's at AFTP Podcast 13. At AFTP Podcast 13. Go and chuck that a follow on Twitter and so on. And I can show you here. Actually, I love this. My wife made this again. She's so creative. Can you see this? It's a bookmark. That's the logo there. And it's got a little thing there, so as though you're playing the podcast. All the social medias and so on at the bottom there, look.
Multi-talented.
Because when she goes to the signing on in Sheffield that she's interviewing the organizer for for the podcast on Saturday, she's going to be selling all of her merch as well, and she's got stuff to do with the podcast to sell as well now. So yeah, fantastic stuff. So make sure everybody goes and checks that out, Mr. Mags.
Definitely, she's way more talented than we will ever be.
Indeed. And you mentioned wrestling as well, the crossover to the book world. My wife's latest release is part of a charity, I think it's called an anthology, where there's lots of different authors writing smaller books that all get put together. And my wife was part of that for a charity book that came out in the last couple of weeks. And her book is about the wrestling world. It's a romance in the wrestling world. And I've read this short story and it is fucking awesome. And it's wrestling enough for it to not insult wrestling fans, but not so wrestling that it means that people who are not wrestling fans will get lost in it. Do you know what I mean?
And it's wrestling enough to keep your attention.
Pretty much. It's absolutely superb bit of work by my wife. So yeah, Sharon, if you can, chuck the link up in the chat so people can have a look at it. It's a few quid on Amazon, I think it is, but you can buy the hardback, the paperback, or whatever it may well be. Sharon, correct me if I'm wrong. It's all for charity as well. So yeah, make sure you jump in on that. Mm-hmm. Magsy, shall we? What are you looking at? You got a little smile on your face. What have you seen?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay.
I was waiting for you, and then you started going really slow, like you forgot what you was going to say.
I was going to say, Magsy, shall we dive on into our non-wrestling topic? But do you want to look in the chat first, or shall we just get on with it?
I mean, we can look in the chat. So you were wrong about the anniversary. It was actually the second anniversary.
Of course it is. Sorry.
But that just goes to show how much you love your missus, that time flies. It's
exactly.
It's only been you only thought it was a year when it was actually 2. That's amazing.
I think we've only been together 3 weeks.
And she said, "Oh goodness, it feels a bit real now." Yep, she's been getting that first podcast jitters. We all get it.
There we go.
And don't worry if you are critical of your own first podcast. I mean, I've given this advice so many times. It's fine to be critical, but you will get better. Honestly, you absolutely will get better. Not saying that you're bad. Well, I've not listened to it, but I will be doing. But if you think you're bad, don't worry. My first podcast were horrific, and SARS, Jesus Christ, he's just been downhill ever since.
You fucking asshole.
King's Pigs Bladder says CRISPR Vision was awesome, and to be fair, recording with Morty and Fitch is always awesome. Listening back to myself and the mess of that group of people is not awesome.
I wouldn't know, mate. I've never been invited on Morty and Fitch.
You have been invited multiple times, and you have refused to come on. So because you don't do podcasts with multiple people, because you can't understand everything what's going on. Do you remember saying that? That has happened.
I've been on there as well, haven't I? Actually, we did the quiz.
No, that was Morty and Fitch. It wasn't an O Vision.
Yeah. No, I know the old visions I struggle with, but yeah.
That's when we beat the Ranstomators. Like when
Yeah,
we didn't just beat them. We absolutely demolished them.
Yeah. So okay, I'll take that back in that case. I have been on Morty and Fitch. So
Sharon's put the husband started and finished my book. Insert shock here.
it was very, very good.
And she said she may get blocked for that. Nope. I will not let him block you for that at all. So Connor says he has a few ideas that he'll stick with. Remind me, and I'll message you early tomorrow, US time, afternoon, UK time. Well, if you message me, I'll probably won't read it because I very rarely go on Twitter, but I'm sure Sam will pick those messages up for you.
I will be at work, so if I don't reply straight away, please bear with me.
Morty says the unbelievable has happened. The Hairy Housewife YouTube channel has had 3 great videos in a row. Fitch looking scared of a car wash. Talking to Munch. Yeah, so that was Munch from 2 parts of lager and a packet of crisp.
Yes, I saw this.
And he said that he wasn't a real celebrity. So when I get on some real celebrities, like bad mouthing his first ever celeb collab, and yeah, that was mean. And then spraying himself in the face. Shock horror.
When you initially said he was talking to Munch, I thought you meant the guy from SVU, Law and Order SVU. But he's dead, isn't he?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, he's dead.
So that'll be pretty impossible.
It's not him.
Mort says chain wrestling still ranking number 1 out of all that. Yeah, of course we will. And we even thought, well, I thought at the end of that quiz, when it got to the last question, that we'd blown it and we'd basically been whooped, and we got the last point as well, which made it just so sweeter. We just demolished them.
My big brain.
Well, you did mention, what was the thing you said about a ladder?
Yeah, it was to do with okay. I got that completely wrong. I misunderstood the question in my defense. People have to go and listen to that pub quiz episode of Morty and Fitch.
King's Banner says he's seen the Munch and the car wash and they're really good. Yeah, I'll binge the next couple of episodes of Fitch's YouTube pretty soon. Today outdid himself. The Fitch we know and love shone through. And he said he was a man, a celebrity. Oh, Fitch, you are a douche. But yeah, that's the chat all caught up with. So come on, let's get on with it.
Get on with it. Let's do it.
Let's do this non-wrestling topic. I regret this bitterly.
NWT time. Oh, no wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely.
Nice. Ooh, lovely.
Lovely.
Oh, yes, indeed. We are playing Snog, Marry, Kill, but with food. And we have called it something suitably immature and daft, which sits right up our street. What was it, Magsy?
Well, I said scoff, nibble, bin, and then changed it to vomit. And then you added the master stroke of scoff, nibble, puke. So
did I write puke, did I?
You did. Because
okay.
For context, Sai and I will usually message sometime very late before this non-wrestling topic is due to drop and say, what are we doing for this non-wrestling topic? And I had the I thought at the time good idea of rejigging the Snog, Marry, Kill, but just mention food because we love mentioning food on this show. It takes up probably 50% of the actual show sometimes. And then I realized that they're going to tell us we have to rate food that we hate or food that we absolutely love. And me and Sai are both fans of food, shall we say. So yeah, this turned pretty sour pretty quickly, and I regretted it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think there's going to be some really good conversations here. And what I want to do is everyone in the chat as well, jump on in and say what you think when we put forward what everyone from the CWF has tweeted into the show. 3 options each, of course. And it comes, and like we said, scoff, nibble, puke. Easy as that, isn't it, Max? So let us know in the chat what you are thinking. Yeah, I will run through them, Mr. Mags. in the order
that
they arrived into
came
us.
in. No.
So we begin with our good friend across the pond, Connor Knows Soccer, at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. He
That little
says,
Wow.
I probably would be a
Bastard.
bottom.
Straight away. Bastard.
He says, bubbly chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate. Now, before we answer, we had a bit of a grey area with regards to what the rules actually were for Snog, Marry, Kill. So what are these rules actually here for this? So scoff is what our favourite. We keep it forever.
So scoff, well, you wouldn't keep it forever. If that was there, you would shovel it down as if it was the last meal on earth.
Okay.
Nibble would be if someone offers you a some of that food, you go, yeah, that's fine. And puke is you would rather eat your own shit than eat this food.
Righto. Bubbly chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate. Magsy.
Well, I would rather eat my own shit than eat bubbly chocolate. So that definitely is the puke. White chocolate, I'm not a massive fan of. I find I find it way too sweet. I'm not a big fan of milk chocolate, to be fair. I prefer dark chocolate, but I would rather have milk chocolate over white. So milk, I would scoff, and white, I would nibble, and bubbly chocolate, I wouldn't even puke because it wouldn't enter my mouth in the first place, but I would puke it out.
See, I quite like a bit of bubbly chocolate.
Dan Griffin's answer is perfect. Scoff milk chocolate, scoff white chocolate, scoff bubbly chocolate. Amazing.
Brilliant. I quite like a bit of bubbly chocolate because I like Mintero.
Tosser.
Just stop it. White chocolate's probably my favourite, but only every now and again because you eat too much of that, it gets a bit sickly. So I'd probably have to say, I would probably have to bin the bubbly chocolate, to be honest. I'd probably have to puke the bubbly chocolate.
Yes.
Scoff the milk chocolate and nibble the white chocolate, I think.
But in reality, you'd scoff a lot.
Yeah, probably, mate, probably. It depends what chocolate it is as well. I mean, I like dark chocolate too. That's probably my preference as well. Dark chocolate with a nice cup of tea, Mags. Banging.
Yeah. Or coffee.
No, I don't like coffee. This one here by our good friend Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter is absolutely superb. Marmite, marmalade, mayonnaise.
Okay, so you go first on this one.
Okay. Out of all of those, my favourite thing is Marmite.
You scruff.
Why? Just because I'd like something different to you?
No, it's because you like disgusting things different.
Marmalade and mayonnaise, that's tricky. I can't remember the last time I had marmalade. And I do have mayonnaise sometimes with like my chips and whatnot. So, but I do like marmalade. I'd probably nibble the mayonnaise and puke the marmalade, but that was a tricky one. But Marmite is I love Marmite, mate.
Right, so Marmite for me, get straight in the bin. It's even the smell of it turns my stomach, so I would puke that. Marmalade is quality, absolute quality.
I'm not fond of the bits.
No, it's got to have the bits. If it doesn't have the bits, it's jam. The whole point is to have that the strings of peel. And lime marmalade is the best.
See, no, I do like that. Yeah, I do like that.
So I would scoff the marmalade with a spoon from the jar. And mayo, yeah, I'd have a bit. Maybe not so much with chips, but yeah, on a sandwich.
You'd eat marmalade from a jar?
If this was the three options, then yeah, I would eat the marmalade from a jar.
And I'm a scruff for liking Marmite.
Yeah, that's the rules of the show.
Right, and just to be clear here, you're saying marmalade has to have the bits in it to make it marmalade. Without the bits, it's just jam. But you can get but you can get jam with bits in it.
I don't make the rules. I just say the things that come out my mouth. There's no logic to it. Have we not? We've discussed it.
I know words.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh dear me. Okay. Dan Griffin at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. This one's going to be tricky. This is going to be tricky. I think we'll go. No, should we go in reverse order? Yeah, let's go in reverse order. Carbs.
Oof.
Pasta, bread, or potatoes?
Pasta,
bread, or potatoes?
Oh, but I mean, they're all amazing, aren't they? That's like choosing between your kids. Which
And you got to
kid?
think as well what comes from this stuff is like potatoes. You get chips and waffles and all the other stuff.
Don't do that. Why would you add more threat to it like that?
Because he's not asking. Would you have some nice pasta, a nice bit of bread, or a raw spud? Is he? He's asking potatoes, as in like what you can make from potatoes.
But I didn't want to get all the varieties and variations of potato products in there because it just makes me sad that I won't be able to. Yeah,
mashed potato.
Mashed potato song. This is the show today. We're not even going to cover Barry Horowitz. Just us drooling over these foods. Right, I'm gonna scoff potatoes because I think they're the most versatile. I'm gonna nibble pasta and I'm gonna bin bread, which is horrific because I love sandwiches.
See, I like pasta, but I would. My mindset now is what would I be happiest with never eating again? I would be happiest never eating pasta again out of those three options.
Yeah, but I was thinking the versatility.
You've just bollocked me about talking about how versatile a potato can be.
Yeah, and that's why potatoes won the day for me. Because they're the most versatile. Waffly versatile even.
Waffly versatile. Yeah, pasta would get binned, mate. I'm not, it is what it is. I would nibble on potatoes, but bread would be on my number one.
Bread?
Because I couldn't live without having a toasted sandwich. I have a toasted sandwich pretty much every day. If I couldn't have a toasty, I'd be devastated. I think, and this is going to be a bit controversial, and I'm going to regret saying it. I think tomorrow I'm probably going to correct myself, but right now in my mind, I think I could happily never have another roast potato if it meant that I could still have toasters.
I hope Danny stabs you.
Brilliant. Takeaways, Dan continues. Pizza, Chinese, or Indian?
Oh, I like, again, it's choosing between the kids.
Well, you've got a Chinese and an Indian kid.
Mags has played around in his time.
So I didn't even think of it as that you've been playing around. I just thought that maybe your milkman was Asian or something like that.
The postman was Chinese. Doesn't he look like me? I would, out of those, I would puke the Indian. I would nibble the pizza, and I would demolish the Chinese. Not demolish the Chinese food. I don't want Xi Jinping on my back.
Breaking news, chicken news. Mags declares war on China on his own. See, this is really, really difficult for me. I think I could live. Chinese would be the one that would have to go, but I do love Chinese. I love Chinese, but it'd have to be the one that would have to go. Pizza would be nibble, and an Indian's my favorite, mate. So,
well, I mean, there was no losers in that one, really, apart from us for having to pick.
Yes, and finally, I thought initially this was going to be the most tricky out of Dan Griffin's options, which is why I left it till last. But now I'm thinking it's actually relatively simple compared to the other two.
For me, it is.
Yeah, what to have with Sunday roast: beef, chicken, or lamb?
So me and Mrs. Mags have had this conversation before. We've ranked the four main roast meats. For me, beef comes bottom. Not that I don't like beef, it's just I prefer chicken and lamb over it. But now I've got chickens. Can I see myself eating a chicken? Absolutely. Chicken is number one, and lamb I'll nibble at.
Yeah, chicken's number one for me, hands down. I have chicken on my Christmas dinner and everything, man. Chicken's my favourite. Yeah, I have chicken on my Christmas dinner.
Chicken and turkey, or just chicken?
Just chicken.
I feel like I don't know you anymore.
Well, what? It's possibly the biggest roast dinner of the year. It's one of the most important meals of the year. Why would you choose to have a meat that is blander than the option you could also get.
You are blaming the wrong thing. It is bland because of how you cook it.
I don't cook it, mate. Sharon does, so
Well,
I'd be very careful if I were you.
Well, I definitely don't want to upset the apple cart, but cook your turkey breast side down and you will be amazed. Believe me.
It's just never as nice as a good chicken, though, mate.
You're wrong, but there we go.
Okay. So chicken's number one for me. I would probably choose beef just above lamb, but only just.
No, I would choose lamb over beef every single day. Unless it was steak. And I suppose, no, because it's Sunday roast and that's a beef joint and it's not a steak. So, yeah, beef's bottom.
Yes, there we go. William Kitchen at the Appliance 180. William, we have not heard from you for a little while. It is awesome to have you messaging back into the show. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
sir. And we hope you are well. He says, doner kebab, tacos, lamb, Rogan, Roche, as opposed to Josh.
I didn't even notice that the mistake until I read the comments. Where
the thread afterwards.
You rinsed him for it. But out of those, I think tacos would probably be the bin.
Yeah, and me agree with that.
Doner kebab would be the nibble, and lamb rogan Josh would be the scoff. Ironic that I put Indian to go in the bin earlier, but never mind.
No, I'm 100% in agreement with you there, Mr. Mags. I don't think I've ever had a taco.
Yeah, I've had a taco. You can buy the kits, can't you? Not Uncle Ben. It's not Uncle Ben's. There's a company.
I know what you mean. El Paso jobby.
Yeah. El Paso, yeah. So yeah, I've had taco. A good one for you because obviously you probably would wear a taco if you bit it. You can get they look like a taco boat, and you've put all your stuff in it.
Okay.
If you just had the half moon ones, you would wear that. You'd need a
thing
bit.
is, I get my hair off with stuff like that. We got a question coming up.
Well, when you have to build your own meal.
Yeah, and I'm like anything that requires a bit of effort. We'll get to it in a minute, actually, because there's a question that brings it up later on. 5 Nerds Go at 5 Nerds Go on Twitter. And this one I think is done with you in mind.
Yeah,
Mr.
bastard.
Max.
Matt from 5 Nerds Go is a douche.
We will start with the second option. Orange juice with pulp, Twiglets, or Bourneville.
So Twiglets, they taste like Marmite, don't they?
Yes.
So yeah, they're directly in the bin. Bourneville, dark chocolate, not wrong with that. I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Cadbury's. I think it's mostly sugar and very little chocolate, but I would nibble the Bourneville. Orange juice with pulp, I get orange juice delivered by my milkman, and it's got plenty of pulp in it, and it's amazing. So orange juice, I would scoff, or what's it called when you drink it? Shotgun it. I would shotgun the bottle of orange juice.
Fair enough. Yeah, chocolate would get in the bin for me. Chocolate would be the puke. Orange juice would be the nibble. I do love a Twiglet, you know.
You would. The best Twiglets a long time ago, they did curry flavored Twiglets, and they were really good.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. It was delicious.
I don't remember that.
Well, you missed out, sir.
It sounds like I really did, you know. 5 Nerds Go, continue. Aero, Whisper, Aero, Mint.
Bin them all. Vomit over them all.
That's not the game.
Oh. So, Aero Mint, I would have to scoff because that's got something other than the bubbly chocolate in. At least you get a layer of mint. Out of those two, I think the Whisper bubbles are smaller, so they're a lot less annoying. So that would be nibble, and then Aero. I would yeet it out the window.
I don't think Aero chocolate, as it is, like the ordinary plain chocolate Aero, is actually that nice.
No, it's got massive bubbles in as well.
There's nothing to do with the fucking bubbles.
Pulling your pants down.
See, why do people do this? They send stuff in purposely to press your buttons, and then we accomplish fuck all on the show because you get riled up.
You say this as if we accomplish anything on the show any week.
Right, Aero would be puked. because it's my least favorite of the three. I do bloody love Whisper, but Mint Aero is my favorite of the lot. So there we go.
Oh, I thought it said Whisper Mint. Fuck. No,
No.
it's
You
Aero
can't
Mint. Yeah, I'm swapping. I will scoff the Whisper, nibble the Aero Mint, and then bin the actual Aero.
I'm intrigued to know what Sharon's thoughts would be on those three chocolates. Interesting.
I mean, Sharon's thoughts are, Sad doesn't like food you have to work for.
She's right. That comment in the chat, she's absolutely back. It does my head in, mate. It's the same as. I'm not going to get into it now. We
Because we'll achieve nothing.
It doesn't achieve anything. Our Photoshop wizard himself at Pig's Bladders on Twitter. Oh my god, this is really difficult. This is really difficult.
Oh no.
Okay. Sausage, bacon, eggs. I think eggs would have to go in the bin.
No. Eggs are the best.
Oh,
eggs.
No, yeah, but no.
Again, you're talking about versatility. If you get rid of eggs, it means no more cake, no more omelets.
Yeah, my omelets end up shit anyway, though, mate. To be fair,
no more eggy bread.
I do like eggy bread. Sausage in the bin, then. Eggs would be a nibble. Eggs would be a nibble.
Sausage, to be fair, is like snouts and trotters and all the worst parts of the
Sharon
pig.
gets these sausages that I can't remember what flavour they are, but they're fucking amazing and I love them. No, sausages in the bin, eggs would be nibble on, and bacon would be number one.
So no, for eggs, number one for me. I would scoff them all day. Bacon, nibble on, and sausage would get in the bin.
Pepperoni, salami, chorizo.
Oh, I like all these. The best is chorizo. I like the paprika spiciness of it. Then pepperoni is the bigger one in it, and salami is the smaller one. So I would get rid of pepperoni. I'd puke pepperoni. I would nibble salami, and I would demolish chorizo.
See, for me, I'm happy with whatever, really. I do like pepperoni on my pizza, though. And I kept a pizza in the other one, didn't I? So
you did. So you need that pepperoni to put on it, or else you're just having a cheese pizza.
Yeah, I would probably bin the salami, then puke the salami, nibble the chorizo, scoff the pepperoni, mate. I think.
Good pick.
Breast, leg, Parson's nose. I don't really understand what that is.
Right. So the Parson's nose is a little piece on a chicken. It's usually like near where one of the holes are, and it's just a piece of fatty meat, and it looks like a Parson's.
Near where one of the holes are.
Yeah, because you've got I always get confused which is the neck end and which is the bum end.
Well, the neck end is the one with the beak.
No, but not when you have a chicken ready to cook.
Oh, I was going to say, you have chickens. You have chickens. That's a level of confusion you should not be experiencing.
Anyway, the Parson's nose, I would bin it.
Okay.
Breast, but breast is boring as well, though. Leg, I would scoff. Breast, I would nibble. Parson's nose, bin.
Yeah, I'd bin the Parson's nose. I don't really know what it was. Nibble the leg. I'd keep the breast, though, because this comes back to my whole thing about not having to fuck about with my food. And it's like people got like, oh yeah, well, I love chicken, I love the drumsticks, or I love the wings and all that. Like everyone bangs on about having chicken wings, barbecue chicken wings. It does my head in, mate. Just cut my meat off, stick it on a plate, and let me just have a plate of meat. I don't want to be fucking around having to try and get it off the. Yeah, it does. If I got to work for it, what's the point?
Exactly. Sai doesn't like food you have to work for.
There you go. It annoys me. And the same as happens when you sit down. This hasn't happened in many, many years. I mean, Sharon's family don't do it, my family, whatever. But I used an ex-girlfriend of mine, for example. I'd go over her house for dinner, and it'd be one of these jobs where you have like bowls in the middle of the table, and everyone would basically help themselves to bits and fill their own plate up. No, fuck that shit.
So like a buffet.
No, like a roast or something like that, like a cooked meal, and everyone would have like the stuff in the middle, and they'd be, pass me the potatoes, please. Nah, bollocks. Put mine on my plate, and I know that's mine.
You're Smithy from Gavin and Stacey, aren't you? You order your food.
I will slap your face.
No, but you're that part of the character where this is the food that I want. If you wanted it, you should have got it. But I'll have all mine. I'll go and eat it in the car.
I don't know. I mean, he has that big rant about the curries, doesn't he? I don't mind sharing a little bit of curry with different, trying different things and whatever. But when you're sat around the table and everyone's like, oh, there's the potatoes in that thing, and then there's this like thing here with the meat, and there's the veg and all that. It's like, nah, don't just put my food on my plate. I can finish it, and if there's more going after, then let me know. Otherwise, I worry. Am I gonna?
It's the social experience of it, though.
It's social bollocks, mate. I don't want to. I don't
So
want to
this is what I could picture in your house. Everybody gathered around the table, having a jolly good time. Sa in the front room on the settee with his plate by himself. Shouting had to dish it out for him because he couldn't be bothered to dish it out with the family, chatting away. That's how it goes in your house.
No. The big issue I have, for example, roast potatoes, right? Everyone loves a roast potato.
We're going to achieve nothing in this show.
No, I'm making this fucking point now, right? There's only 2 potatoes left, or 1 potato left, and I think I'm gonna have that tater. I look like the bad guy then if somebody else wants it, don't I? But I don't want to turn around to other people and go, "Does anyone fancy that last potato?" In case one of the fuckers says yes. Just put on my plate.
Fuming.
Yeah, exactly. So it creates this whole social issue. Just put on my plate what I can eat, put on everyone else's plates what they can eat, and just crack on with that, innit?
Or share the potato.
What, cut a potato in half?
Yeah. So say Charlie says, "Oh, Dad, I fancy that last potato." You wouldn't go, "Well, do you know what, Charlie? We'll share." Or would you go, "What last potato?"
No. For my kids, I'd share. That's better.
Well, here's a lesson for you, Charlie. You don't always get what you want. Yoink. Oh.
No, I would share for the kids. That's fair enough. Anyone else can fuck off, but I'd share for the kids. Anyway, this one I'm going to really struggle with because I hate coffee, and I don't really understand what some of these things are. Pig Spiders continues: Vietnamese egg coffee.
I've
Indian
not heard of that one.
No, and they get a bit worse. Indian monkey spit coffee.
Yeah, so I think that's a coffee from the monkey eats the fruit and then spits the seeds out, the beans, and then they're collected.
Why would anyone do that?
Apparently, the saliva of the monkey it adds to the flavor of the coffee.
Nope, not for me, mate. And then civet coffee.
Civet.
Right, which is the description Pig Spiders is given here is coffee beans that have been digested by a cat. Yeah. And then what? Shit out or thrown up?
Pooed out.
Pooed out. So it's cat shit then?
Well,
it's cat shit coffee.
It's coffee beans. You don't put all of the cat shit in. You don't get like a piece of tuna in there.
No, I appreciate that. You're not going to put a little. Oh, the cat curls one out in the litter tray. Pop it in a cup, hot water. Away we go. No way. You ain't going to do that, are you? Dilute to taste and all that stuff. Fuck no. But I mean, because it's that means poking around in the cat shit to get the beans out.
Yeah. I mean, that's done by the person selling the beans. They washed, obviously.
Well, I fucking hope so. They all sound horrific, to be honest. I would have to scoff the egg coffee because that sounds the least gross out of everything.
Okay. I've actually tasted civet coffee. It's actually not that bad. It's hard to get over the mindset that it's been eaten by a cat, though.
Hang on, you've had what? Sorry, the civet coffee. You've drank the cat shit coffee. Oh my word!
Yeah, it's not like they just get the coffee and then make a brew of it. It's then cleaned and roasted and then ground.
It's roasted turds.
Yeah, the thought behind it is that the start of the digestion starts the cooking of the bean.
No, that's not for me, mate.
Like I said, it wasn't. I wouldn't drink it again. It's hard to get rid of the mindset that it's been eaten by a cat. Indian monkey spit coffee and
what's worse then? A bit of spit or a bit of poo?
Yeah, this is the mindset though. You've got to get it out of your head that it's been chewed by a monkey or shot by a cat.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think spit is probably a bit better than shit.
okay, I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know if I would like to try the Vietnamese egg coffee.
Why is that bad?
I don't know. I've not heard of it.
So it's the unknown, isn't it? It's not knowing.
It's the better the devil you know. Yeah. Well, Kingpin's Bladder said in the chat that it's really sweet. Well, that's me out because I don't like sweet coffee at all. So
yeah, that doesn't mean anything, does it? It's really sweet. You can put 17 sugars in the fucking cat shit, for crying out loud, and sweeten it up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, but I don't put any sugar in my coffee at all. So that's a bit too sweet for me.
See, I just don't like coffee, so. Okay. Vietnamese egg coffee would be the one I'd go for.
I've been that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you would choose the monkey gob and the cat bones above an egg.
Yeah. A Vietnamese egg.
Well, that makes all the fucking difference then, doesn't it? Of course. Right. Okay.
As Dad says, I don't put any sugar on my cat shit either.
Fair enough.
I would scoff the cat shit coffee. I would taste the monkey spit coffee, and I would vomit the egg coffee. I can't believe why did you let me put this up as a topic?
Oh, hang about. I just realised there's actually pictures he sent us.
No, that's another one. That's a totally different thing.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah.
We've got 2 more to come yet.
Okay. Hash cookies, magic mushroom muffins, or edibles? Pig's Father says.
Okay, so out of those, I've never had magic mushrooms ever. So again, fear of the unknown. Hash cookies, yeah, piece of piss. Edibles, again, Amsterdam favourite. So I would demolish the edibles, nibble the hash cookies, and bin or vomit the magic mushrooms.
Yeah, I reckon I'd be exactly the same, mate. I reckon I'd be exactly the same. Magic mushroom, man, you start tripping on that, and nah. Because once it's done, and you got to ride it out. And if it's a bad time, it's a bad time, you know? There's nothing you can do about it. MGB Graham at MGB Graham on Twitter.
No. You've missed this one.
What? Okay. I can't see that properly on my screenshot. I apologise.
So this is ballot, which is a chicken or duck embryo, which they let develop in the shell before they boil it alive, and then you eat it, crunching all the bones and the wings.
What the fuck is wrong with these people in Vietnam, man?
Whoa, don't start the tradition of slating Eastern culture. Virgin boy eggs. This'll be a doozy for you. This is eggs that are combined with the urine of a young boy, a 10-year-old or younger boy. Or Shirako, which is not mayonnaise as it looks. It's actually fish spunk. So
and that's it. That's what it is. Just fish jizz.
Well, yeah. Fish jizz. Now, which of those delicacies would you demolish? Would you
Can I go back to the cat shit?
No, you already made your choice on that. Would you eat a half-grown baby chicken or baby duckling? Would you prefer pissy eggs, 10-year-old boy pissy eggs, or would you prefer a fish spunk mayonnaise?
I need context. I need context with the old, cod jizz. Is that a sauce? Did you dip your chips and your crackers or something in it? Is that?
I mean, it looks like you would spread it on something or dip
Toast
into it. I don't know if toast. You need something with a strong flavour to mask the fact that you're licking the baby makers of of fish.
Okay. And with regards to the piss eggs, oh fuck's sake, I don't even know anymore.
So I mean, there is a little bit of context here. So it's buckets of boys' urine are collected from primary school toilets in the area, and the whole process of cooking takes an entire day. So it's not just one person. It's not like one kid is coming around and just having a slash in your frying pan. It's multiple. It's it's multiple kids' piss collected through the day. So that piss is there festering, and then you soak the eggs and boil them in the piss before you actually crack the shells.
It's the way you worded that then. It's like you're trying to make this seem like, because it is obviously the much worse alternative, but you're trying to make out as though the one boy coming around and pissing in your frying pan would be okay. It's not like
it's definitely not my cup of tea. But the thought of, at least you know that piss is fresh piss, where this is day old piss that's been there all day, and it's from multiple pissing kids. Yeah, that's a no from me.
Yeah, it is. Is it worse being from multiple people, or is it?
Yeah.
If you think about it, if it's piss from one person, and they got something wrong with them, then you're having that bad piss, aren't you? But if it's multiple people's piss and one of them has got something wrong with them, it's watered down by the good piss, isn't it?
But on the opposite side of the coin, are you more likely that one person has got something wrong with them, or a classroom full of snotty-nosed little Chinese boys, that it's more likely that one of them will have some sort of disease?
It's almost like you need some kind of...
we need to move on from this, because I'm getting to the point where I'm going to throw up, because this
you need almost grim. Like some sort of 10-year-old boy quality control, don't you, I suppose?
Do you want to take that job up?
No, I fucking don't.
There's a certain register that you can sign up to.
I think...
Interviewed by Gary Glitter.
I think, and I say this horribly, I'd have to scoff the embryo, I think, because that's the least offensive.
Yeah, same. And you could 2 bites and swallow it down and just like never do that again.
And then it's like...
And then I would rather eat the spunk of fish than eat the piss of boys. Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for playing, Pigs Barriers. Enjoyed that. Cheers, pal.
I regret now having Barry Horowitz Appreciation Days ruined it for me.
Dear me. MGB Graham at MGB Graham on Twitter. He sent us a picture. He says he deleted his option after he saw this meme. What do we guys make of this? And for those listening on the audio version, we have a clip of Chandler and Monica from Friends, and they're saying tomato soup, grilled cheese, Funyuns. Funyuns are the crisps, aren't they?
I've actually got a bag of Funyuns right here. Funyuns.
Oh, yeah.
So they're basically, they're onion rings.
Oh, okay.
But more delicious. They've got a more roasted oniony flavour.
This is easy for me. Tomato soup.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Tomato soup, pissed off. Grilled cheese, that'll be your number one, guaranteed. Yes. It's essentially a toaster.
Yep, exactly.
Same with me. I would rather have a toaster, and then Funyuns, I would nibble on.
Yeah. That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough.
Wow. Dan Griffin in the chat. He would bin the Funyuns. Disappointing, Dan. Disappointing.
But what would he... So he's nibbling the soup? No, tomato soup's just... bleh.
Yeah, it's the worst of the soups.
It is, without a doubt. Rob, at UTT Rob on Twitter. I won't be cruel and do the bubbly chocolate, but I'll make Mags choose between chocolate he actually likes.
Oh, I love Rob. Rob may be my favourite person from the UTT podcast.
Fries, Turkish Delight, original, cherry, and lemon. Which one are you going with?
They're in the right order. Best one is the original one. Cherry is absolutely delicious and it goes second. Lemon, even though it is delicious, it would have to be puked.
See, lemon is one of my favourite things, like anything, lemon squash, lemon cakes, whatever. I've never tried the lemon Turkish delight,
It's good.
so I don't know. And I imagine I'd love it because lemon's, like I said, my favorite.
Have you tried the
But-
cherry and
Yeah.
the rose petal one?
Yeah, the original one.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ro-
I love
rose
the
flavour.
original. Yeah, the cherry one's nice, but the original one's the best. I'd take a gamble, I think, Magsy, and I'd puke the cherry one so I could try the lemon one.
Yeah, I mean, there's no losers there.
Living
all
on the
good.
edge, mate. Living on the edge.
You maverick.
Oh yeah. Morty at MortyJR5 on Twitter. He says Aero chocolate bars, Tangy Tom's crisps, and fruit shorties. Inspired, of
think I've-
course, by Biscuit Vision, Chocolate Vision, and Crispo Vision.
I haven't got Morty's on man, which is fun. It might
Okay.
have blocked me. It might have blocked me. So what was the choices?
Aero chocolate bars,
Bin.
Tangy Tom's crisps,
Oh, they're crisp for kids though, aren't they? And what was the last choice?
fruit shorties.
I mean, they are one of the worst biscuits. 'Cause
What
it's
is a
like-
fruit shorty?
So it's basically like a shortcake, but
Right.
with bits of raisin in.
Oh yeah, fuck that off.
Yeah, but then you're picking Tangy Tom's, which is a ball that tastes of tomatoes made out of maize.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all right if you've got like 6 bags of them. Otherwise, they won't fill you up.
Yeah, there is that, but they're also the bags that you get for the kids, like to put in the packed lunches.
Yeah.
But Aero
I-
definitely has to go in the bin without a
The
shadow of
Aero-
a doubt.
Aero would be my scoff on this one, mate. I'd nibble the Tangy Toms.
How
and
two-faced
shorties.
are you when you binned it earlier?
Well, yeah, because I've got different options now. Do you know what I mean?
It
It's
was
like-
the worst of some good options before.
Yeah, now it's the best of some pretty poor options here.
Well, I would bin that the Aero. I would nibble the Toms, and even though it is kind of healthy, I would eat the fruit shorties. I would scoff the fruit shorties.
Kind of healthy because it's got a couple of raisins in it,
Yeah, exactly. It's one
but
you
it's full
found
of
here.
sugar and yeah, okay, right, okay. Some flawed logic there, but okay.
Where is my logic not flawed?
Steve-O at Total Steve-O on Twitter. He says, admittedly, these are brands, and I'm annoyed that the CWF have voted for that crap.
See?
So I'm
So
cheating.
Steve-O tried to
Oh, he
sabotage
wanted,
Barry Horowitz.
he wanted some
appreciation.
Shawn Michaels goodness on his Monday evening.
I'm sure
let's be
Shawn
honest.
Michaels will. That match will definitely be on the show pretty soon.
I reckon. It's failed. It's lost in a poll twice now. Do you know that?
Well, I mean, we made up that arbitrary rule of it failing twice and it never gets mentioned again. But that was just for Hogan ruling the world.
That was it twice? I thought it was 3 times.
Twice. I mean, best 4 out of 7 we can go with.
Steve-O says McDonald's, Burger King, KFC. Easy. McDonald's gets in the bin. KFC's my favorite.
McDonald's
I'd-
burgers are fucking grim. Absolutely grim. I hate them. I hate them with a passion.
Yeah, KFC's my scoff, man. Burger
yeah.
King, I'd nibble on.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
The burgers from Burger King are a million times better than McDonald's, but KFC wins there easy.
Nando's, GBK, Five Guys. What's GBK?
So GBK is Gourmet Burger Kitchen.
Right. Okay.
So it's essentially a posh burger place.
Okay. I would have to put Nando's as my scoff because that's the only one I know. I've not had food from the other two.
Same. With the nearest Five Guys is I think we've got one in Manchester. But I keep saying that I'm going to go there, but I haven't actually been yet, so I can't judge that. I don't think there's any gourmet burger kitchens in the north. I don't think. Maybe Dan can correct me on that. So yeah, Nando's wins by default. The other two, I would say Five Guys. I'd probably nibble. Not the first time. And Gourmet Burger Kitchen can unfortunately go in the bin. But I do find Nando's, that is the driest of the chickens. So dry.
Yeah,
The-
I've only had
The
it once.
the one saving grace is the spicy rice. That is elite. That rice is elite.
Walker's, McCoy's, Doritos.
McCoy's top by a long way.
Yeah.
Then probably Doritos. because
Yeah.
Walker's is basic crisps, isn't it? As thin as they can get. They're not that flavorful. I do prefer Golden Wonder over Walker's, to be quite fair. So Scoff McCoy's, Nibble Doritos, Bin Walker's.
Ah, see, I thought you said Walker's would be like your favorite.
No,
Okay, well, Walker's would be my favorite,
just
and
some
then
brand
Doritos,
stuff.
and then McCoy's. So
McCoy's are like the.
Thank you very much.
Oh, see, you're spoiled. Even
I
though
am,
you
mate, I
called her cooking earlier, called her turkey dry.
You said her turkey was dry. Nothing to do with me. Ah, dear. This is what we come back to with regards to the bones in meat and fucking about with food.
You'll hate all these. You'll hate all of these.
Chicken thighs, wings, drumsticks. I just take the meat off and just put it on a plate for me.
Does Sharon actually do that? So when you have like a roast chicken, I assume, being the man of the house, you get the leg,
No, I wouldn't have the leg. I have the other meat.
the other meat, as it's
Yeah.
known. So you would get meat with no bones in whatsoever. Even
yeah.
though you look like a caveman, and
Yep.
cavemen love like knowing on meat on the bone.
Well, don't get me wrong. I would eat the leg if given it, and whatever. And on the barbecue, I'll do stuff like that. But if I've got a choice, I would have, the non-bony meat, I suppose.
So the best one for you out of this would be the thighs then, because it's
Yeah.
literally one bone with the most meat on it.
Yeah, there we go. I suppose I don't really make much difference between wings and drumsticks for me, mate. Wings would probably be bottom, drumsticks next, I guess.
Because of the ratio of meat to bone.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. There's more meat on that.
You're right though. Chicken thighs would be the winner.
Yeah.
Easily, 'cause it's a tasty piece of the meat as well. Drumsticks, I would nibble. Wings, get in the bin.
Fair enough. Bit of greenery, Magsy. Broccoli, spinach, carrots. Well, carrots are orange, but you know what I mean.
One of these is fucking revolting anyway, so that's going straight to vomit, and that's broccoli. Spinach and carrots are two of my favourite vegetables. I think I would pick spinach as scoff and carrots as nibble.
Oh, see, carrots would be my nibble. No, carrots would be my scoff because Sharon does roast carrots and they're banging. So yeah, carrots would be my scoff. Then broccoli would be my nibble. Spinach would have to go, but not because I don't like it, just because I prefer the other options.
Yeah, and I don't like it, so it can fuck off.
Fair enough. Tuna, salmon, and cod. Tuna would be my scoff, just because it's just easy enough, isn't it? Tuna steaks and that, lovely.
Cod would probably be the bin one because there's not a lot of taste to it.
Yeah. I like a bit of salmon.
Yeah, I think I'd pick salmon as the scoff and tuna as the nibble.
Okay, tuna would be my scoff, salmon would be my nibble, and I'd probably just bin off the cod, to be honest. So there we go.
Benny Mac in the chat. I don't see the point of chicken wings. It's so they can fly. Benny.
The chickens don't fly though, do they?
Yeah, absolutely, they fly.
No, they don't fly like fucking magpies or seagulls or
No,
whatever,
they're land-based birds, but yeah, they can fly.
But no, they don't
They do
fly.
They don't even fly. They do. Who here? Put your hand up. Have you got chickens?
My mum's got chickens.
I didn't ask if your mum had. I didn't say who here's mum's got chickens.
No, but they don't. When you say something flies, I think of the birds all in a triangle.
Permanently, just never lands.
No, fuck me.
Trust me, chickens fly. They do fly.
When they jump down off something to the floor and they flap their wings to go a little bit slower, that's not flying.
Well, what is it? Falling with style type story.
It's gliding, isn't it? Almost.
Well, gliding is like with wings that don't move.
Okay, right.
So they
don't jump off it and then fucking hover there for a bit or take off, do they?
Trust me, they fly. Believe me. They're not going to fly miles.
You don't go out to your chicken coop or whatever it's called in the morning. Oh, the chickens are up. Let's go check on them. And they're all above your head, flapping around on the ceiling, are they?
No, but they will be on the top rung of the roost and they'll fly to the opposite side of the coop, out of the door and to the opposite
Yeah,
side of the coop.
okay, yeah. To me, that's just a big jump, isn't
A fun fact, anyway,
it?
they do fly, but one of the chickens a couple of weeks ago. So we have like a bin in their coop, where like a plastic bin where you put the food, because you've got to keep it from like attracting like any pests or predators. So it gets locked in a plastic bin.
Yeah.
And this bin is near their roost. So I was bent over this bin picking some food out, and one of the chickens jumped onto my back.
Brilliant.
Right, and it wouldn't get off. And I was there trying to like manipulate it so it would have to slide and fall off, and it just kept climbing up onto my shoulder, then onto my head, and for about 15 minutes, this chicken would not get off my back at all. And I was shouting for the wife to come in and help because I was piggybacking a chicken.
I'm being attacked.
No, it wasn't a tight work like pecking at me, but because it knows I'm going in the bin, it's expecting some food, so she wanted to be first to the food.
Oh, see, I really wish you'd have fell in.
I looked like I was a parrot, but I couldn't afford the parrot. I was like a parrot, what you got from Wish.com.
Brilliant. And finally from Twitter, unless I've missed any, we have Chris Bellis at Real Chris Bellis on Twitter. He says fajitas, enchiladas, and 5-alarm chili.
Right, so fajitas and enchiladas are essentially the same thing.
Are they?
But enchiladas has cheese spread on it, and then you bake them in the oven. So you make your fajitas, and then you put them in a tray, put cheese on and a bit of sauce, and bake them in the oven. 5-alarm chili. That sounds my cup of tea. The hotter the better. So I would scoff that. If you're adding cheese to something, it instantly makes it better. So enchiladas next, and fajitas in the bin.
Okay, so fajitas and enchiladas are the same thing, you say, just that one's got cheese.
Well, a fajita is like a wrap with all the filling.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
An enchilada is a wrap with the filling that you then put into like a baking tray. So you line, like, say, 4 or 5 of them up, sprinkle a load of cheese in, put them in the oven, let the cheese all melt, let them crisp up.
In that case, then, I would scoff the enchiladas and I would nibble the 5-alarm chili. I never tried it before. What are you laughing at now?
Just if that's the case, I would scoff them. Never heard of them before, but that sounds just like my cup of tea. I will scoff them.
And I've been off the fajitas because I'm getting that with cheese. So,
yeah, exactly.
Makes sense, mate, doesn't it?
It does.
There we go. Then. As far as I can tell, we are done, mate. We are done.
That was way better than I expected. I thought that was going to be a horrible topic, but you guys have absolutely smashed it. We've got plenty of comments in the chat as well, so I think we need to
let's dive on in.
Need to scroll all the way back up and listen to how wrong the CWF are about some stuff. So let's start with Benny Mac saying white chocolate equals puke.
I don't mind white chocolate.
Then Marmite, he would scoff. Marmalade, he would scoff. Mayo, he would scoff. That's not the rules of the game, Benny.
I don't think you understand the game.
But then Benny does say lime marmalade is amazing, so I have to agree with him there. Okay. Charlie nipping in to say that she's doing her own work. Well, crack on with that, Charlie. You're a superstar. Dan Griffin, the implication is also that Mags has a pizza kid to go along with the Chinese. And the easy one. Hey, how rude of you.
That was terrible.
Bobbity boobity. This just in, Mag says he will stab Sa and take over Gianna. Yeah, the things that, how have I not been cancelled or killed off by someone? It's unreal. Dan Griffin says most of what by the chickens.
Yeah, perhaps that's what that one chicken was trying to do.
No, she just wouldn't get off because she thought I'm getting the pick of the seeds. Dan says most of what he ever says or tap is relatively simple, and then comes in with Mags straight in with a beefy bottom. And Dan says, do you at least put a little Santa hat on the Christmas chicken, sir?
No.
He doesn't. He doesn't have any involvement in the preparation. His involvement in meals is it turns up by a puff of magic on a plate. He eats it, then by a puff of magic, the plate disappears.
That is scandalous. I'll have you know. I peel the potatoes and stuff, and I do the washing up. Sharon in the chat will back me up here. I always do the washing up and that. Yeah. And one year, Magsy, I made Christmas dinner. I made Christmas dinner on my own. My wife
and it was toasties all round.
It was fantastic, mate. Sharon had just had Charlie, so Charlie was born the 22nd, so she couldn't get up and do anything. So I made the Christmas dinner. Banging it was, and so much cheaper if you just buy those microwave ones.
or the Christmas dinner in a tin.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, I made Christmas dinner, mate. Don't get me wrong, Charlie's now 13, so we're going back a little while, but it's
but that is something you will live off for the rest of the time. Whenever there's an argument with Shah, it'll be, remember that year I made Christmas dinner? See, you owe me. You owe me big. You've got quite a lot of love for having chicken on a Christmas dinner because King's Pig Brother says exactly the same thing. And Sharon says she does cook the turkey breast side down, but she still prefers chicken. Well, it's okay. As Dan says, you're both wrong. Oh, no, he was talking about us. He would scoff the lamb, nibble the chicken, and bin the beef. That's close to what I said. I mean, lamb and chicken are 1A and 1B. He then says he would bin the tacos, nibble the kebab, and scoff the rug. Just that's exactly how we put it. So, great. Rotund man's think alike. We know our takeaways. Dan says he would bin orange with pulp, which is horrific, nibble Twiglets and scoff the Bourneville. Sharon also would bin the Twiglets and bin the Aero mint. Good lass. Good.
She doesn't like mint chocolate.
I mean, not that wouldn't be the reason why. Sharon then says bin the sausage, scoff the eggs, nibble the bacon. Yeah, pretty much the same answers as me. Okay,
that surprises me. I thought bacon would come top for sure.
Well, it definitely comes top for Scottish. Danny, he says bacon is always number one. Yeah. Dan Griffey says you can actually get boneless wings. So we had all that argument about meat to bone ratio, and you could have just gone for boneless wings anyway.
I bet those birds definitely couldn't fly.
You dickhead. Dan says Smithy was 100% right about his own food. Yeah, I don't. Have you seen that episode of Gavin and Stacey?
Yes.
Where he goes, "You've been eyeing up my booners, haven't you, Pete? You've had your eye on my booners." And I bet Stacey's got a coma, which is pointless. It's an irrelevant.
I don't mind a korma, but I wouldn't choose it over a spicy one.
It looks like baby poo. It tastes of just coconut. There's just
but I like
zero point to it.
I'd have a little bit of korma alongside my proper curry, just because I like the coconut, but I wouldn't have it as my curry. Do you know what I mean? I like a spicier one than that.
Okay. Sharon has issued a challenge. She said, I shouldn't have used Charlie as the example for the potato because he would do anything for her. But what if it was Liam or Liv? What if Liam or Liv wanted that last potato?
Yeah, I'd share it.
No, you wouldn't, you fucking liar.
Would.
You liar. You absolutely. You'd eat it in front of him, eyeballing him at the same time. That's just like that.
I definitely would with Liv because she's tougher than me. She'd beat me up. To be fair, she wouldn't even ask. That potato would be gone and in Liv's gob before I had a chance.
Dan Griffin agrees with me. Sharon, you know that Leary's getting told to fuck off. I've paid for those potatoes, and I'll eat the last potato.
Brilliant.
100%, Dan. This reminds me of the story of Stuart and his cat shit spatula eggs.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus Christ. Roasted poo coffee. And Sharon says she's surprised she can't hear you laughing from downstairs.
Well, glad to know we're entertaining.
Benny Mac says you can't polish a turd. Well, actually, you can. I've seen that happen. They did it on Mythbusters, and they actually made a cow. I think it was a cow pat properly shiny. It's ridiculous. But you can grind it up and put it in coffee. Mags doesn't put any sugar on his cat shit either. I absolutely don't. Dan says bin the mushroom muffins, but I think he would bin them because the mushrooms are not that he's worried about having a bad trip. But scoff the cookies, shock horror, nibble the edibles. Yep, great picks. He says, at Sharon, first time a woman's ever told me I finished him off. That links to this. For fuck's sake, Dan, that finished me off. Brilliant.
For goodness sake, behave yourselves.
Dan also says he was scoff the fish spunk, nibble the half-baked chicken, and bin the nonsense. Bin the nonsense. And Dan said just add some pineapple. What, to the nonsense? Or to the Shirako? What, the Shirako? That wasn't the nonsense, was it?
I don't know. Add some pineapple to it. In my mind, I'm thinking you just feed the fish loads of pineapple.
Was the Shirako was the pissy eggs, weren't it?
I don't know, mate. I got no idea. I'm kind of blacked out.
You wouldn't need to season. Jesus.
Dear me, Sharon.
And King Prince Blazer says he took so much time choosing these. He just literally is Google search worst foods ever.
Yes, exactly.
Chain wrestling is turned into Tarot on TV mixed with Euro trash. It's been Euro trash for a long, long time. Dan, we've already gone through this. Scoff the grilled cheese, nibble the soup, bin the Funyuns. And then he says Funyuns are fucking shit. No, they're not. That's wrong. Absolutely wrong. Graham says it's good time to arrive to the mention of arrows and then has to go. So thanks for that. He's dying to know. Oh, he's going to back to the start and he's dying to know what a nonseg
is.
You don't want to know. I'd skip that part. It was pretty horrific. Sharon says KFC can get in the bin, and your kids love fruit shorties.
They're not real biscuits.
Dan would scoff Five Guys, nibble.
I've heard that about him.
You've witnessed it when you went to Cardiff.
Yeah.
Graham says Five Guys have a nerve of charging so much for their burgers when they put a craft single on their burgers instead of proper cheese. Oh no!
Whoa,
a gourmet
really?
burger place and they put cheese, dairy slices on. That's horrific. Dan says Manchester is the most northern gourmet burger kitchen since the York one. Oh, I didn't know there was one in Manchester. Next time there, I'll definitely have a look. Dan would scoff McCoy's, nibble walks, and bin the Doritos. He would then scoff the wings, nibble the thigh. Ooh, misses. And bin the drumsticks. He would also bin the broccoli, nibble carrots, and scoff the spinach. Benny Mac doesn't see the point of chicken wings. They don't even fly, and that's just a big jump. It's not a big jump. And it's not flying, it's falling with style. Yeah, Buzz Lightyear. When a chicken is flying at you full pelt, you'll understand.
Yeah, I imagine that's quite scary.
I mean, no, I mean they're a chicken. You just volley them.
You can't go around kicking your chickens, man.
That's definitely a t-shirt. You can't go. Oh, that reminded me of you can't go around naming strangers cocks.
Oh, you can't put a t-shirt on a chicken was another one we said, wasn't it?
Yeah. He is the washing up king. Apparently, you're the washing up king, sir.
I am.
Sharon redeeming you after a full episode of her just slating you whatsoever. And there was a reason he only made that Christmas dinner once. Jesus. She's like,
that's a bit harsh.
Never do this again. Never. I will do it every year from now on.
I thought it was right, but to be fair, it was 13 years ago. So
Dan says he'd been them magic mushrooms because his head is mashed enough without hallucinogens, and also the mushrooms, which he hates them. He also says add some pineapple to the fish spunk, supposed to make spunk taste better. And Shirako was the fish spunk. Brilliant. Dan Griffin, less a ped egg and more a peed egg. Jesus.
Bloody
It
hell.
just goes downhill, this show. Graham says a son's baseball game, so he's got to leave, but I'll catch up with some food talks with you guys.
Well,
Thanks
good
for
luck to you,
tuning
boy.
in, Graham. Yeah, hopefully they'll get a win. And I'm sure you'll regret listening back when it goes onto the podcast. And finally, Mags the Poultry. Why do I get horrific nicknames? The Padding Predator, the Poultry Punter. Yeah, stop bullying me.
Mm,
But that's the
that's exactly what it is,
podcast.
mate. You're being victimized, aren't you? Being victimized.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, thank you so much again, as always,
mean-
to everybody who has tweeted the show, messaged the show, got involved in the chat for our non-wrestling topic. Absolutely fantastic from all of you once again. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much. However, we do need to talk a bit of wrestling. So, Maxie, should we jump on into it?
Let's get ready to rumble!
Magsie's selection won the poll, and we are looking at Barry Horowitz in the middle of 95, I guess, Mags.
We are.
2 matches. Well, I suppose in a way it was almost 3 matches, wasn't it? 'Cause I didn't realize that the match restarted on the original show.
Then technically it should have been 4 matches because the match that we started with was the second one of a little trilogy. Unfortunately, I don't think the first one was actually on the network.
Okay. Was it Pro that was on? Something like that?
Action Zone, I believe.
Action Zone, that's it. Pro was a WCW show, sorry. Yes, indeed. The first match we are looking at is from the August 12th, 1995 episode of WWF Superstars, available on the WWE Network. And it's a 10-minute challenge because Barry Horowitz apparently has spent 10 years losing in the WWF.
Which is a fucking lie.
It is disgusting lie.
It's genuinely. I wanted to check this because I know how much the WWF like to manipulate history, and Barry won quite a lot. In 1995, he won 30 matches. 1994, he'd won 5. 1993, he'd won 11. 1992, he won 15. 1991 was the only year that he didn't actually win because he said it was 10 years that he basically lost. So all the way down to 1985, he'd won at least 1 match a year, apart from 1991. And he beat some big names as well. He beat like Ken Shamrock before Ken Shamrock was obviously the Ken Shamrock that we know from the Attitude Era. But yeah, he beat some really big names.
Just revisionist history again, isn't it? It's just bollocks. But I suppose what makes this match and the follow-up good is the story they're telling. So I suppose without the bullshit lies, the story doesn't work.
Yeah, you're right.
So there we go. So we have a 10-minute challenge from Skip from the Body Donners to Barry Horowitz, basically saying you need to last 10 minutes with me, and it's effectively like a win for you because he lost on Action Zone, as we said, and it was portrayed as this big fluke, wasn't it? Horowitz picking up that win, man.
Yeah, it was a roll-up. He won by a roll-up. So Skip was pretty angry about this and went on a tirade and said, you don't even have to win the match. You just have to survive 10 minutes and it'll be 1 minute of me beating your ass and 9 minutes of push-ups.
Yes. Now, I've got a bit of an issue with this first match in particular. I suppose all of it, to be fair. Barry Horowitz is the way Barry Horowitz is. His gimmick is that he's this underdog. He's not exactly super flash or anything like that because it would go against the gimmick they're trying to portray. You know, he's literally just the standard trunks and so. You wouldn't exactly call him oozing with charisma, would you, Maxie? I guess.
He's the perennial jobber. There's a reason why he was called King of the Jobbers because he was really good at making his opponent look like the superstar.
Yeah.
And that's why he was in that role for so long. So for me, I thought it was actually really good that he got he got his flowers. He got a
Oh, yeah, of
little
course.
bit of a push of a storyline. And
But
I
what
also
I mean
like,
is, sorry, go on.
I was just
What
going
I
to
mean
say,
is,
twice he did that. I'll finish. I like
Okay.
the fact that he got this underdog story, that he got these wins, but they didn't build it into something that he wasn't. That he wasn't
Yeah.
now all of a sudden this all conquering
Contender,
superstar
sort of,
wrestler. Yeah, he had his little run, his pay-per-view appearances, and then back to making the superstars look good.
What I mean is that the issue I've got is that the opponent he's facing here, I mean, 1995 WWF, mid 95 WWF, the roster is paper thin. There's barely anyone of substance available to them, really. You got the top end of the card, you got Shawn, Razor, and Diesel, and Brett, and so on. But go beyond them, there's not much there, is there? So he's facing Skip, who, from the Body Donners. The problem we've got is he's accompanied to the ring by Sunny, and Sunny's a megastar, even at this early point. I mean, she is stunning. I mean, in July 95, I was 14, so 14, 15, 16, around that time when she was in her prime in WWF. Yeah, right up my street, of course, and she was very much marketed to teenage lads such as myself. But even now, as an adult looking back and seeing this, she's a megastar. She's full of charisma. She is the star of the show. And there's moments where I almost find her distracting from the actual wrestlers themselves because she overshadows them both so much.
Yeah,
because she's such a star by comparison, Mags.
You're absolutely right, and I think that's probably why Skip's push didn't last that long as well, because Sunny was always destined to be the big superstar.
Yeah.
Even when she was with the Smoking Guns or LOD 2000 or any of those, she was the star. People weren't looking at the people she was managing; they were looking at her. So, and I know that Chris Candido, this was his actual girlfriend, the guy who was Skip. So you can understand why they were partnered together, but it's kind of like the Mark Miro and Sable situation. Miro was a talented wrestler, but he was never the star that Sable was going to be. And just like Skip was a talented wrestler, but he didn't have that X factor that Sunny had.
I think with Sable and Miro, the big thing for me with Sable was it was just all about looks. She was an incredibly attractive lady. Of course she was. She was stunning. But that was kind of where it ended. Yes, she worked a few matches and so on, but she didn't have that sort of extra to her. Sunny was, again, stunning. She was a really attractive lady, of course. Mid-90s to late 90s Sunny is just absolutely breathtakingly gorgeous. But she had that X factor as well. She had the charisma. She had that's something extra about her that I don't really think Sable had. I think Sable just got by literally by how she looked.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. She wasn't exactly someone who could maintain an audience through her mark work, and that's not to say that Sunny's the best on the mark, but
no, of course,
she definitely has more charisma than Sable did. Don't beat me up, Brock. Don't beat me up.
The match begins. Well, we think the match begins with Skip jumping Barry Horowitz on the outside, battering him, suplexing him on the dirty bastard. Yeah. He suplexes our hero Barry on the floor, and he starts. We have the commentators who at this point is Doc Hendricks and Vince McMahon.
Who were dickheads, weren't they?
Terrible, absolutely.
I hated him. Doc Hendricks was the most overacting tosspot on commentary. It's horrific. Although he did slag off Vince McMahon, saying that he's 85 years old and he had to super glue his wig on.
That is funny. They're calling for the bell to be rung so that he can be counted out and all this sort of stuff. We don't get much else said. The show just kind of moves on.
Yeah,
and then a bit later on,
find out afterwards.
Yeah. And the match we do get a second attempt at this 10-minute challenge. So we restart later on. And the purpose of this kind of false start, I think, it serves its purpose. It does what it needs to do. Because the crowd are fully behind Barry Horowitz at this point now. If there was any doubt that he was going to get the babyface reaction or the underdog reaction, this initial false beginning
Mhm.
has really sort of added to that, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's changed as well the mindset of Sonny and Skip, because when they first come down to the ring and they attack Barry, they're all smiling and mocking. On the second time when they come to the ring, they're absolutely livid because they thought they got one up on him, but they do actually have to wrestle this match. So it adds more gravitas to the match. I think it makes Barry even more of an underdog.
And again, it comes back to that thing we were talking about with regards to the revisionist history and the bullshit side of the WWF. It's the story that makes this for me.
Yeah.
And you know, no disrespect meant to Skip or Barry Horowitz. I don't ever think I was expecting to sit down and watch an Omega Okada or a Steamboat Flair classic here. It's the story that gets this over for me, as opposed to the actual in-ring action.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a Chris Candido shoot interview where he says that this was meant to be just like a one and done kind of thing, where Barry got the lucky win, Skip got his win back and on the move. But the fact that the crowd were so invested in it that they both went to Vince and said, Can we get a pay-per-view out of this? And Vince agreed, and that's how it went on. So yeah, it's the fans really took to Barry Horowitz with this fluke victory over Skip and made it more than it possibly would have been.
Yeah, without a doubt. Horowitz begins with lots of punches, kicks, a couple of headbutts, and so on. Before Skip sends Barry Horowitz to the outside, and they have a bit of a scrap out there. Then we have an exchange of some suplexes as well, Magsy, don't we? And it's all kind of pretty straightforward, relatively simple wrestling at this point. But again, it does kind of work. We're not expecting a Matt Classic here because it's about the story they're telling, and the crowd are behind Horowitz here, aren't they? Chanting Barry, Barry, Barry over and over again.
This sounds. I mean, like we said, Barry Horowitz is the king of the jobbers. He's the guy you send out when you want a superstar to build up his momentum for a big match. But they've people in the audience with Barry Horowitz signs. It's amazing to see. It's genuinely heartwarming. Yeah, that someone who's a wrestler who's paid his dues and been the guy who's seen so many wrestlers beat him and then go on to great things, and he's getting his time in the sun. It's good to watch.
Yeah, without a doubt. We get a snapmare and a chin lock from Skip, and that lasts a little while, holding him down in that position and again, the whole time we've got the countdown clock being announced by the ring announcer. But it's not until I think it's 30 seconds left we see a clock ourselves, Magsy, is it?
Yeah, they definitely don't do the Royal Rumble trick here where they have the fans counting down. We get the last 30 seconds or so. Yeah.
Barry Horowitz does fight back from this chin lock, but he's cut off with a knee as he's been sent to the ropes before we see a Boston Crab applied by Skip. And that's when we see that this is 4 minutes into the contest now. Skip then releases the Boston Crab and they carry on brawling for a while. But here we see the first time I kind of look at it and think, okay, this looks a bit ropey now, is when Skip was throwing those forearms to Barry Horowitz's back. They looked like shit. They were terrible. You could just see through them straight away, can you?
You could. And there's a spot earlier on in the match where it looks like they were trying to hip toss each other out of the ropes. That was a bit off. But they essentially just build into the fact that Skip is playing with Barry Horowitz. That he feels he could beat him at any time, and he's just keeping the punishment going because he knows he's got a 10-minute time limit.
Yeah, indeed. Skip misses a running attack into the corner. He sent Horowitz into the corner. He runs in to splash him or just collide with him, but he misses. But then Barry Horowitz does the same thing. He tries to do the same sort of maneuver on Skip, but Skip moves. Barry Horowitz rolls up Skip here, for a 2 count and then hits a crossbody off the second rope to get another 2 count. And the crowd are now they're kind of building and building and building because I mean, okay, he's not getting destroyed here. He's not just trying to last the 10 minutes. This segment of the match,
he could go on and win.
He could get a pinfall.
Yeah.
So that's quite good. As the clock ticks away, though, we see Skip getting more and more desperate, don't we? Barry Horowitz quite cleverly rolls out the ring a few times to try and waste time. Skip runs out after him, but doesn't attack him on the outside, throws him straight back in because he's trying to win the match. We get... That happens a few times. Then we get the 30-second countdown. And Barry Horowitz is the one who's almost trying to get a couple of pinfalls when the clock appears at 30 seconds with a sunset flip and a suplex before we get a couple of pin attempts from Skip. And that's kind of where we run out of time, Magsy, isn't it?
Yeah, it felt like a weird way for the time to run out because normally you think they'd try and plan for it to be the clock goes as we get a 2 count or at least going for a pin. But it runs out essentially when they're almost kind of locking up after a suplex. It's a weird way, but it shows that Skip had multiple opportunities to finish this match, and his showboating and gallivanting cost him. And he's absolutely fuming about this because Barry's now 2 up on him.
Well, it's announced as a win, isn't it? It's announced as a win for Horowitz, even though it's gone the time limit. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that was the point of the match. He wasn't challenged to beat Skip. He was challenged to last 10 minutes, and he was able to do that and give in parts of the match give as good as he got.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, we're going to sort of, I suppose, do the same as we did before, rate both matches out of 10, give an average and so on. This, to me, is just a stepping stone towards the end of the story. But rating that 10 minutes of action bell to bell out of 10, Magsy, for this particular one, what are you thinking?
I thought it was fun. Like you said, it for me, it's all well and good having amazing technical wrestling. Yeah, we all love to see that. But a story is so important, I think, and this tells a really good story. Yeah, the wrestling is a lot. It's basic, but that's mid-90s WWF for you.
Yeah,
it was basic. But the story of Barry Horowitz rising from loser status to get one over on Skip and then get one over on him again. Yeah, I love this story. So I was fully entertained by this match. It's not the best technical wrestling we'll ever watch, but it was damn entertaining. So I'm happy giving this a 7.
Really? As high as that?
Yeah. It was fun.
Okay.
It's not all about what happens in the ring. It's about the path and the roller coaster ride that you go on. And I thought this was really good. The snotty, muscly Skip and his hot girlfriend, and you've got Barry Horowitz there, the everyman, the most beautiful mullet since Sarko Sid. Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Okay. I got 4.5.
Well, you horrible sourpuss of a person.
Well, I 4.5. I think was fair enough. It's a 10-minute match without a proper conclusive decision. The action was good enough.
But there was no. There was a conclusive decision.
Sake.
He lasted the 10 minutes. He wasn't there. He didn't have to pin. He didn't have to submit.
I understand that.
He lasted 10 minutes. It was conclusive. Skip could not beat Barry Horowitz in that 10-minute match.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it was still pretty simplistic for me. But the story is great. I love the story. But if I'm looking at the in-ring action, I mean, if I'm looking at what I saw on screen for 10 minutes, we got to see Sunny, 1995 Sunny. That's 10 out of 10 for me. But I'm looking at it from the from the in-ring action.
You're so basic.
Mate, I was all about Sunny when I was younger. I'll tell you that now. All about Sunny when I was younger. This then takes us 2 weeks on into SummerSlam of 1995. We have a pay-per-view match for Mr. Horowitz, which is fantastic. He comes out this time with music. He has music.
Yeah, and do you know the music? Did you recognize the music?
I know it's a reference to his background, isn't it?
It's Harvey. I
That's
think it's
it.
Harvey Nagila, or it's essentially a very Jewish
Yes.
song, and it's not like the WWF to be on the nose about stuff like that. So yeah, it was interesting for him coming out to essentially a Jewish anthem.
Yeah, it's the same principle as if he was, Japanese. They put him in a karate uniform, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But he was on the show later than X-Pac. He was on the show later than Triple H. He was on the show later than Billy Gunn. It's mental. He was the mid-card fodder. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.
I mean, that's SummerSlam though, SummerSlam '95. And again, I'm not taking away from Barry Horowitz here because he's got the story going into the pay-per-view. It deserves its spot on this pay-per-view. 100% does. But you look down that SummerSlam card. Oh my word, that is weak, isn't it? That's a real example of how terrible. I mean, to put this into context, SummerSlam is obviously August. This is August of '95. The following month, literally, what date was SummerSlam '95? Mid-August, was it? Something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
So a couple of weeks later.
21st.
Okay, 21st. So you're looking at 1, 2, maybe 2 weeks later. The very first episode of Monday Nitro airs with Hogan and Sting and Savage and Luger turning up.
It was a changing of the guard.
Yeah, you look at this pay-per-view and you've got Mabel in the main event versus Diesel.
Oh, I mean, we've
Bret
covered
Hart versus Isaac Yankem. Oh my word.
Yeah, I mean, once you get past Barry Horowitz, you're looking at 0 stars for the women's match from Shaggy Dave. You've got the casket match. I think that gets a 2. You've got the Bret Hart and Isaac Yankem match that he gives it 1 3/4 for a Bret Hart match. You do have the Razor and Shawn Michaels match.
Oh yeah, the ladder match rematch, isn't it, from WrestleMania 10? Yeah.
And then obviously you've got that dog turd of a main event, which I think he gives a 1/4 star.
Yeah, and again, you look across to what they start doing on the other channel. I mean, they open the second episode of Nitro. Then, so the week after, is headlined by Hogan versus Luger. Different level, absolutely different level.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that's why WCW led the way.
Yeah, exactly. Barry Horowitz here, he's not messing about. He comes half running, half jogging, half skipping out
with his sparkly suspenders. Those were
lovely pair of braces. And he jumps in there and goes straight for skip. Straight away starts attacking him. And we see
a dragon screw. Hits a dragon screw.
He does. He hits a jawbreaker. He hits the old boss man sliding punch where his opponent's draped in the 619 position. And he slides underneath and punches him. And then he hits a dragon screw. Yeah.
So all that technical wrestling that you didn't get in the first match, Barry delivers in the first 2 minutes of this match. So he knows he's on pay-per-view in a singles match, which I don't think he did before and he never did since. And he's maximizing his minutes in the sun. Good on him. Absolutely good on him.
In Tokyo, there's a couple of young men named Okada and Tanahashi. They're sat there as young kids watching the telly and going, I want to be just like him.
Whilst eating their pissy eggs.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, dear. Skip does take control, however, at one point before Barry Horowitz fights back again. He doesn't allow Skip control of the match for very long. I thought that was going to be the moment where the heel takes control and dominates, but it's not. Skip comes back and Horowitz comes back and takes over again. And Skip is suplexed to the outside at this point. And that's when we get the distraction of Sunny. She jumps in the ring, and my goodness, she's distracting. She jumps in the ring and she's shouting and yelling at the referee. She's thrown the towel in.
She quits for Skip. Yeah. So essentially, Barry would have won 3-0. He would have won this series 3-0. But Earl Hebner, he shouts in the face, "Bitch, this ain't boxing. This is wrestling," and sends her out of the ring.
Yes. She goes to the outside. This has allowed Skip time to recover. He gets back in the ring and he Irish whips Barry Horowitz before Sonny reaches into the ring and trips our hero from underneath the bottom rope to allow Skip to finally take control.
Yeah.
We see a gut wrench suplex, a leg drop from the middle rope, and a rather ropey looking fist drop from the middle rope as well. That didn't look as good as the leg drop. That was a bit shit, wasn't it?
It didn't. Yeah, you're right. But what annoyed me about skipping this match was this guy has lost by a pinfall, lost by his own challenge, and in this match, he's doing jumping jacks, and he's running around the ring as if Barry is beneath him, and yet Barry's got a positive record against him.
Yep.
This is the kind of thing you would think he would have done in the second match or the first match that we watched.
Yeah,
but no, he's chose the match where there's the most on the line to start piss-arsing about, and that kind of didn't make sense for me.
No, I think you're right. Skip misses an elbow drop, which allows Barry Horowitz to start building a comeback. He hits a few shoulder blocks to get 2 counts, which were quite unique. And I liked that because he's hitting a shoulder block, going for a cover. Hits another shoulder block, goes for a cover. None of this nonsense that you see in AEW where somebody gets knocked down and they pick them back up again. Try and win the match. But there we go. That's an argument for another day.
And then Barry hits the Luthez press. A move that Austin ended up making famous a couple of years later, but his Luthez press was amazing. I loved it. It was so good. It
was very good. Skip does, however, gain a little bit more sort of a foot up in the match by hitting a power slam quite soon after that, though, doesn't he? Quite a good looking power slam as well, to be fair.
And that's when he drops the leg drops as well, the kind of running leg drops.
Yeah,
they're really crisp. Yeah, really crisp though.
Yeah, X-Pac that sort of you don't jump into it like a Hogan would. You just kind of drops and slide. Yeah. And then we sadly, when this is picking up after a nice Luthez press, a power slam, and these leg drops, we go back to the fucking chin lock that Skip seems to enjoy so much, which was a bit of a shame. Before Barry Horowitz fights back again. And he battles out of this chin lock.
He just can't be beat, this guy.
Oh.
Just when you think you've got him on the ropes, he fights back. It's amazing.
He's not only an inspiration, I feel, to other wrestlers, but he's an inspiration to mankind in general.
Yeah. He's the hero that we always needed.
Without a doubt. But there is a bit of to quote Gorilla Monsoon, a malfunction at the junction. Both guys go for a drop kick at the same time, crash and burn, lie on the mat for a little bit, and the crowd start getting into it then when the guys are led on the mat, cheering on.
And again, there is so many Barry Horowitz sounds in the crowd.
Yes.
And the guy is getting really good pops from this crowd. I mean, you would think that this would be a match that a 90s wrestling crowd it'd be the piss break, or they'd be sat on their hands. This crowd are into this match.
Yeah.
It's mental, absolutely mental. Poor young Barry Horowitz, it's been a jobber for all this time, and it could have been a contender. Could have had Diesel versus Barry Horowitz in that main event instead of shitty Mabel. Oh, annoying.
I'd have watched that. I'd have watched Diesel Horowitz above Diesel Mabel all day long.
Can you imagine the 1995 King of the Ring, King Horowitz?
King Horowitz. I know. I prefer King Barry. King Barry. That sounds more regal.
King Barreled. King Barreled.
Oh, King Barreled the first. Arise, sir. Skip goes up to the top rope here before Barry throws another pretty spectacular drop kick. I mean, he's not a small guy. He's quite a tall fella, quite gangly limbed as well. So throwing these drop kicks as well as he does, it's quite an athletic feat, isn't it?
Yeah.
He hits a drop kick on the ropes to send Skip crashing and burning. But then we get this kind of weird splash attempt.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure what that was about.
I think that it was just a case of the positioning being wrong. It looked like he was going for almost like a frog splash, but then realized halfway through the move that he wasn't going to make the distance. So he ended up kind of like landing on his toes and then flopping onto Barry. Luckily for us, that wasn't the finish, because if that would have been the finish, it would have been a damp squib for this match.
Yes, indeed. We get a pile driver attempt as well, which is countered by Horowitz.
Yeah.
But we also then get a bit more cockiness, don't we, by Skip? He's making an attempt at a pinfall, getting to 2 and lifting Barry Horowitz up rather than winning the match.
It's just always the wrong thing to do. If you get the opportunity, take that pin. But no, he tried to embarrass Barry Horowitz, and it comes back to bite him on the arse.
We do then kind of get to the finish, don't we? And there's a lot going on here, a lot of moving parts, because Barry Horowitz goes to the top rope, but Sonny then shakes the rope to make Horowitz crotch himself, effectively.
Yeah.
Skip jumps up and hits the superplex, which I'm assuming is one of his maybe a finisher for him at this point in his career.
Yeah, or at least a transition to his finisher.
Okay. And when that happens, is it Hakushi? Is that how you pronounce it?
Hakushi, yeah.
Comes out, yeah. Who I always thought was quite good. Whenever I've looked at Hakushi in this era, I've always thought he was pretty good in the ring.
Yeah, I think he was. It's just typical Japanese character equals evil foreigner.
Yeah, exactly.
Although ironically, he's the face in this.
Yeah,
but he has a match against Bret Hart, which is pretty good.
Yes, that's true. Yes, Hakushi comes out and distracts Sonny and Skip, climbs to the ropes, and you're thinking he's going to jump in and potentially cost Barry the match via DQ, which would be a travesty, of course. But he jumps and clears everybody, which is pretty spectacular.
It's not only did it look spectacular, and all the moving parts, because you've got like 3-4 people involved in this move to pull it off as slick as they did. I thought it was a super, really unique way to set up the finish. Yeah, and the way that Hakushi just clears everyone and then just rolls out the ring on the opposite side.
Yeah,
super distracts everybody for Barry to then be able to get another roll-up pin. Brilliant.
Yeah. A cradle, gets the 3 count. He celebrates like mad, as he should, and it's just a great moment. And again, what makes it superb as well, Magsy, is exactly how you explained it earlier. They then didn't do it to death. They didn't make, because there's only so many matches you can win as the underdog before you're no longer the underdog and the gimmick is gone.
And it ends up becoming not as special, because this for Barry and for the fans was a special moment. He'd beaten someone who was a relatively mid-sized star in the company, and Barry has beaten him. If he'd have carried on and going on a massive win streak, it takes away from the fact that it was special. But what really got me and really made this, it was like the bow on the present, was when he was going back up the entrance aisle. It gives Earl Hebner a massive hug, and it's like, yes, I've won on pay-per-view. This is like a dream moment for the guy, and you can't help but absolutely love it. It's so damn good.
And again, it's one of those, it's the argument, isn't it, that we hear so many times on different podcasts, different people, conversations and so on, about work rate versus story.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I always say that, it's a bit of a cliche for me, I suppose. It says wrestling on the poster. I want to sit down and watch great wrestling matches. However, I contradict myself quite often, because I also say, give me a reason why these two guys are fighting. Give me a reason why I should care about the outcome of this match. I can watch, absolute mat classics all day long, but eventually it becomes boring.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how good the wrestling is, it becomes boring. You need the story to interject at times. And yes, again, far from a mat classic, of course, but the story makes you care. And that's what I think works so well with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Out of 10, Magsy, for this one, and then we'll get the average or overall.
So I thought that this was the best match of the two. The in-ring work has gone up a level. I mean, there is still a couple of botches in there. The splash / headbutt is one, and I don't know how I feel about the fact that this whole feel good moment for Barry was essentially a lead up to Skip feuding with Hakusha. That doesn't kind of sit right with me. I think it should have just been left at maybe Barry Horowitz having his moment in the sun. But saying that, again, I was entertained. It didn't outstate its welcome. I think it only went about 12 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
The crowd were into it, and the crowd always kind of like add that little bit of an X factor to the match for me. So this is, like I said, it's better than the first one. So this is an 8 for me.
You are blowing my fucking mind.
But again, it's not about what happens in the ring. It's about the bloody good storyline of someone, the perennial lacquer, the guy who can't even get 5 minutes out of a match, and he's beat a star and then got a pay-per-view win. Good on him.
Oh yeah, no,
love
totally.
it.
Story wise, it's up there. It's great, and the feel good moment at the end makes it as well.
Yeah,
Because it would have
So it's an
sucked if all this had happened and Skip beat him. But the actual in ring, we always say we judge it bell to bell, and bell to
from
bell,
bell
it's
to
not
bell, I had fun.
okay. I had fun too, but it's not an 8.
It's an 8.
Shawn Michaels Jericho was an 8. You gave that an 8. I'm fairly certain. You're saying this is as good as Shawn Michaels Jericho.
It's comparing apples and oranges.
Fair enough.
It's about how you enjoyed that match at that time.
Okay, yeah, no, I get you. Fair enough. 6.5 for me. Definitely better than the first one.
So you've upped it by 2 whole points.
Yeah, because it was much better than much better. Sounds harsh. Much better makes it sound like I think the first one was shit. I gave it a 4.5. That doesn't mean it's shit. It's just
It does,
slightly less. Slightly.
What
less
else have you
average.
give 4.5?
I rated this better than the Bellas match.
What did you give Booker T versus Scott Steiner?
5.
So that was better than this, better than the first match.
I think I would rather go back and watch Booker T versus Scott Steiner again. Yeah,
I think you're wrong because that match was an abomination.
but I would rather go back and watch that than the first match, but not the second match. The SummerSlam match I would rather watch than Booker T.
I'm pulling up the new Excel file that you've.
Hang on.
Well, yeah, also
Hang on.
I'm gonna actually chastise you here because you said, "Oh, I've nearly updated it all. There's only about 20 to go. There's almost 30 that you're
Is there?
behind." Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see what you've.
I've done a load though. I've done loads.
So DDP and Sting from the 26th of April 99. Nitro, you give that a 4.
Okay.
So around the same levels as that.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's all right. DDP Sting, 2 good workers.
You gave Jarrett and China at No Mercy 99 a 5.
Okay. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh then.
Jarrett versus Arquette versus DDP at Slamboree 2000. You gave that a 5.5. That was
and I'm saying the second match is better than that.
No, but you're saying the first match is worse than that.
Only just. I gave it a 4.5. It's a smidge.
Rude versus Warrior at SummerSlam 89.
Mm-hmm. I love that match.
You love it, yeah? You give it a 5, you liar.
Did I? I loved it when I was a kid.
You are a snake, sir. You are a snake.
Yeah, all right. 8 out of 10. You fucking nonsense you are. So on average, then that means I'm giving it what, a 5.5, and you're giving it a
7.5.
7.5. Okay, fair enough, mate. Fair enough. But there we go. That concludes Barry Horowitz Appreciation Night, Evening, however you want to word it. I just want to say, Magsy, thank you very much for putting that forward on the poll. Thank you to the CWF for voting for it. Thank you to Pig's Bladders for pushing that, because I must have seen it before. But I don't remember it. I'm fairly certain this is the first time I've seen definitely the 10-minute challenge match. The first time I've seen that. So that seeing this quite short story, I enjoyed it. So yeah, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Yeah.
Shall we dive into the chat quickly, Magsy, before we give our options for next week, and then get the hell out of here because it's already 11:10. I gotta get the bus to work tomorrow, mate. So I gotta get up early.
Wow, I'm getting rinsed here. I'm getting called the poultry punter because I kicked chickens. You fucking boss. I can categorically say I've never kicked any chickens.
That's because you asked why do I get all the nasty nicknames, and that was Dan's response.
Yeah, I know. I don't kick chickens though. And then this is going to be a King's Pigs Bladders love fest because he says, "Let's get ready to Barry." Barry Horowitz also had 2 debuts apparently. He beat Isaac Yankum. He was the feel-good story that fans wanted. Absolutely. He's also impressed that, well, I don't know if he's impressed or disappointed that I gave the first match a 7 because he says it's a 10 out of 10 for him. But I suppose he's a Barry Horowitz super fan.
Yes.
So maybe he's impressed that a non-Barry Horowitz super fan rates the match so highly. Who knows? Scottish Danny says, how many stars would it get if it was in the Tokyo Dome? Not enough stars available. And he's also impressed with our reviewing of Barry Horowitz because he says this has been absolutely awesome so far.
Oh, thank you so much. Cheers.
Yeah. And we're glad we can make it there. He's the hero we just never knew that we needed.
Yeah.
King Barry is the man. Woohoo, Barry. Dan Griffin getting into it as well. Barry is the fucking man. Barry Horowitz for Hall of Fame 2024. It's such a feel-good match. And he was King's Pigs Bladder was campaigning for it all year for 2023, but no luck. Scottish Danny trying to smuggle in a Funake Appreciation Day with Gilbert, Barry, Funake. We CWF love our underdogs. We do indeed. It's been amazing, guys. Thank you. No thanks to me because I didn't vote for it.
And he says,
Brilliant. Don't push it, Danny. And he says he's impressed that I give it a 7 and 8 for an average of 7.5, where Sar, the cynical old goat, just judged it as a typical match instead of a story.
Old goat.
Well, you know what I mean.
Fucking hell. Okie doke then. Magsy, options for the poll. Where would you like to take us next week if the CWF vote that way?
Okay, so you said it was a really enjoyable moment to have the Barry Horowitz Appreciation Day, and I agree with you. So much so that I don't think we should limit it to just this one show. Okay. I would like to cover Barry Horowitz's final pay-per-view match for the WWF.
Was this not it?
No.
Okay.
Now, before you throw your dummy out and complain and whinge, I actually checked with you to see if this match had been covered.
Okay.
Well, I didn't want to give away the match because I think you'll be pretty impressed with the pick. So Barry Horowitz's last pay-per-view match came in 1996, the very beginning of 1996. He was last on a pay-per-view for the WWF in the 1996 Royal Rumble, which was won by your BFF, Mr. Shawn of Markles. So I'm going for the 1996 Royally Rumble.
Royally Rumble. Why? Yeah, that was the second Rumble in a row he won. He won it from number 1 in 95, Max.
I'm aware. I know my Royal Rumble lore.
Yeah. The 96 Royal Rumble. Interesting. Okay. That's some big hair, Sean, as well, that is. That's like the big mullet. Yeah, okay. Intriguing. That'd be good because we always can branch off in so many different directions from a Royal Rumble for future polls. And looking at the roster, the 30-man field in January of 96 will be very interesting as well. Breaking down where the WWF is at this time as well, won't it?
It is grim. Not
Yes.
gonna lie. It's paper thin, that roster.
Yeah. Okay. I would be more than happy seeing that. Bit of Sean winning a Rumble. Lovely stuff. But my option up against it is I said I wanted to watch some good wrestling. We had 3 fucking Kali matches last week, for crying out loud. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen an absolute stormer, or what people refer to as an absolute stormer. So I kind of looked down the SummerSlam card. I even Googled best matches in WWF Superstars history to see what popped up from episodes of Superstars. There wasn't much there, to be fair. So I went back to SummerSlam again, and there wasn't much that we haven't already covered that really stood out as being top class. But then I looked at who was on the card, and we have Bret Hart, who, of course, is wrestling the Nasty Dentist. Now, I'm not going to want to watch that, don't worry.
Well, he calls him the Tooth Fairy.
Yes, exactly. So I thought, well, if we look at good wrestling, you can't go far wrong with a bit of Bret Hart, can you? So I started thinking, okay, well, Bret's going to be the link. Where can I look at? What can we do? And I started looking at the date and when this event happened, and then I started looking at the date that we're on now. And do you know what tomorrow is, Maxie, as we record? It's
Tuesday.
The 22nd. Yes, Tuesday. It is indeed. Well done. It's the 22nd of May right now, the Monday night, as we are live. Tomorrow, obviously, then it becomes the 23rd. That's the 24th anniversary of the incredibly sad passing of Owen Hart. He died on the 24th of May in 99. Now, I kind of toyed with the idea of looking at a Bret Owen match, but we've covered pretty much all of those that are worth checking out. So I went one step further, and what I'd like to do is using Bret as the link, and then the inspiration of it being the anniversary, the sad anniversary of Owen's passing tomorrow. I would like to go to the October 4th episode of Nitro from 1999 and check out Bret Hart versus Chris Benoit in the Owen Hart tribute match. Now, I know I've seen this, but I can't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain websites online, when I was looking for options for my link, that actually go as far as to call this the greatest match in Nitro history.
Wow.
Now, that's a big shout. That is a big, big shout.
Is it? Though, because Nitro did put on a lot of
Oh,
tosh in terms of actual wrestling.
Yeah, I suppose. But you also got to think you have the cruiserweights in there as well, and so on. So
I mean,
it's a lot,
there were some great cruiserweight matches.
Yeah, it's from what I can gather, again, I can't really remember it. I know part of that match was in the beginning sequence for the TV show Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
They used a snippet of that, but I can't really remember it. But from what I've read and kind of what I can scrape by from my patchy memory is that it's a bit of a clinic. And, Benoit,
it can't not be.
Scumbag, but
It can't not be.
But Bret is superb. So that's what I'd like to put forward. So I'm more than happy looking at either of these. These are 2 great shouts. Your options, no, not fucking, but we can't do a 50-50 poll with a fucking Royal Rumble on there. We'll still be here.
A Royal Rumble and a 30-minute clinic.
Fuck, no, we can't do that. Dan Griffin, don't even fucking try it.
They'll never see another Hall of Fame or Mags v. Sai again.
No, that's it. We've only got so much time. We're running late this week. Those are your options for next week then. We have the 1996 Royal Rumble match, or we have Benoit versus Hart from the October 4th, 1999 Nitro, the Owen Hart tribute contest. The poll will be up later in the week on our Twitter account, as always. Make sure you vote, retweet, and all that great stuff. Magsy, have a quick scan through the chat, shall we? And then we need to depart because I need to go to bed.
Yes, sir. So double Barry. I mean, we could get double Barry if you pick the 1996 Royal Rumble, which is apparently a great pick. And Scotty Stelly says he loves the finish of that Royal Rumble. He then says maybe you should pick Mabel versus Diesel. I'm sure we've covered that before. I think we've covered it.
It's definitely been on the poll.
It's grim. That is a grim match.
It's rubbish.
Mabel nearly cripples Diesel.
Oh, yeah.
It's horrible. And then you are getting a shed load of love for Benoit versus for Bret for the Owen match. So yeah, it's a tough choice, as King's Big Brother says. And Scottish Danny says Great Nancy's wrestling again this week. Well, Great Nancy's storytelling.
There we go, mate. There we go. Mags, before we get out of here, do you want to let everyone know whereabouts they can find you online? Well, more importantly, I suppose, whereabouts they can find the chicken updates online.
Yes. Be like Sa and be like King's Pig Banners and make a TikTok account just to follow me on TikTok because
I think you and the wife are the only people I follow.
Yeah, I literally post daily videos of my chickens. Yeah, they're amazing. I don't go on Twitter much. I don't go on any other social media. So follow me on TikTok at Podfarmer Mags, where you can enjoy my lovely chickens. And then you'll also be the first to know about any upcoming chicken news.
That's it. Yeah.
The inside scoop.
The inside scoop. Anything I'm involved in, you can find via the network that carries this show, and that is SJP World Media. So that's at SJP World Media on Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and maybe Instagram, but I've not sorted that out yet. So mainly Twitter and Facebook. And again, we've got so much stuff going on. We've got the new show starting Saturday, with my good lady looking at the book world. Make sure you check that out. We have all sorts of stuff looking at TV, movies, sports, wrestling, so much going on at SJP World Media on Facebook and Twitter and all your podcast players, platforms and providers. And most importantly, you can follow this show at @chain_wrestling on Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you are following to get the news on the non-wrestling topics, the polls, and all that great stuff. Thank you so much to everybody, as always, for getting involved in our non-wrestling topic, voting in the polls, joining us on the live show, messaging us on Twitter, commenting in the chat. This show, we say it all the time. It's a bit of a cliche, I guess, but it's a cliche that really does ring true. This show does not exist without you. Simple as that.
Absolutely.
So there we go. Magsy, I'm off now to cuss out loud as I set my alarm earlier than necessary because I've got to get the fucking bus to work for the first time in months and months and months, and I hate that shit. I'll speak to you next week, my friend.
Have a Nagila.